Welcome to another Deadline stream ahead of Double Gameweek 34. It's an early morning here in the UK. Thank you very much to everyone who's been tuning in across the whole world. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to try to get through all the questions as always, and I'm just going to provide a brief recap of how Gameweek 33 went quickly. A few things happened since my team selection video. Pretty much my entire front three played the second game of Double Gameweek 33 and pretty much no points. Of course missed some good chances, but still got a double-digit return overall, so can't really complain too much. Che Adams benched again, came on for a one-pointer, and Southampton lost 2-0 to Burnley, and Burnley had another goal disallowed. Broja with another pretty much blank. You know, he's been awful for a long time. And other than that, really, the rest has kind of stayed the same. Obviously, Cher and Saka got some points as well. A clean sheet and a bonus point, I believe, for Fabian Cher. And Saka scored a penalty and accumulated a bonus point. So other than that, the rest is pretty much as I described it to you in the team selection. And I think the plans are pretty much the exact same. I already made my transfers. Yesterday night, I tweeted that I was very close to finalising a set of transfers for free. And I ended up doing that. So I was around, let's say, 29k when I made the team selection video. I'm around 35k now, but still an improvement on the 50k I was at during Gameweek 33 or before it even started. So thank you to everyone. Let me just now go to my current team. I will talk about my transfers very soon, but as you can see, Mason Mount has come in, and same with Timo Pukki. And Kai Havertz is the one that I'm looking at and thinking, you know what, this could be a really good performance from him, but we'll talk more about Havertz later on. So thank you everyone. Welcome Abhinav. Is Rudiger out and injured for the week? Well, Thomas Tuchel confirmed that he's out for the first game at least against West Ham, but there is probably a chance that he's going to feature against Man United, but that's not confirmed yet. But he's definitely out for the first game of the double game week. Welcome Rodrev. Really torn between Salah or Havertz captain. It's an interesting one, isn't it? And I'm in a bit of a dilemma myself with Mason Mount and Salah captaincy. The thing with Salah is that I think he could come off a bit early, but I would expect him to start. As for Havertz, he just got his rest against Arsenal, came on for a cameo to try turn the game around. I personally think Havertz will start both games. Mason Mount, you could argue, is a bit less likely because he's been playing so many games consecutively. But if I had to pick between the two, maybe I would be a bit tempted by the Havertz captaincy, especially at his ownership. Yeah, true. Salah is definitely safer, and as you saw against United, you know, he can just go ballistic, basically. A lot of people sold him for Bruno. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's a bad decision in hindsight, but I never really bought into Bruno Fernandes, you know, selling Salah for him. That's why I personally just captained Salah, which seemed a bit crazy. Everyone was captaining double gameweek players, but sometimes, you know, they can go for you and go against you. Saka or Madison on the wild card? Very interesting question. I would say Madison. The problem I have with him is Leicester rotation. So honestly, I'd probably say Saka. Otherwise, if it wasn't for that and Europa Conference League wasn't an issue, it would be Madison for me. Wildcarders with no Spurs must be dreading the worst. The thing is, you can't have everyone, you know. When I made the wildcard team, people were saying, well, you should have a City attacker. And whilst that's true, I would love to have a City attacker. It's very hard to fit them all in. I'd love to have De Bruyne, Foden, you know. As much as I think he's good value for money, he's been fairly inconsistent over the season in terms of attacking returns. And also, he might be benched against Watford. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So it's really difficult. And as for Spurs attackers, you know, Harry Kane went down in price tonight. It's crazy, isn't it? You know, he's basically returned, I think, in 6 of the last 8 games. He's been incredible since Gameweek 28, and people are still getting rid of him. Welcome, Genius Gamer. Marcus asks, Cash plus Foden or Laporte and Coutinho on a wild card? I would rather have... That's a really difficult question, by the way. Probably Laporte and Coutinho, actually, yeah. I was going to say the first one. Triple captain Werner, Dylan Shears. The thing is, if you start the triple captaincy, I would maybe triple captain a Chelsea player this week, whether it's Werner, Mason Mount, Havertz, etc. Maybe even Reece James, who could play as a right wing back again. Otherwise, what other opportunities will you have? Maybe Gameweek 36 on Salah if you're not using a chip. Gameweek 37 if you're not playing the free hit. Maybe a City player if they have a double in that game week. If not, you could go to Coutinho. So you still have a few opportunities, but not that many. I think Werner could be a really good one. I'm still a bit sceptical about him. Start Cody or White? I'd probably go for Cody, and I'm doing something similar, Genius Gamer, where I'm going for Jose Sarr over Aaron Ramsdale. Good morning to you as well, Stephen. Team going into this week: Pope, Trent, Cancelo, James, Alonso, Salah captain, Son, Saka, Kulusevski, Weghorst, Watkins. That's a solid team, and I don't really have too many issues with it. I think that's very good. I especially like the defence, of course, and the midfield. Welcome, Aidan, and welcome to everyone else. Let me try and get through these quickly. So, yeah, your wildcard team. That's very solid. What I would say about Mateta, though, is that he has been benched now in a few games in a row, and obviously came off early in the FA Cup semi-final. I'm not sure if it's to do with a slight knock he has, or maybe he's just lost favour again with Vieira. You know, we all got burned, or maybe not all of us, but a lot of us got burned by Edouard. I would maybe consider Nketiah for Mateta. Now, I don't suddenly think Arsenal are a great team just because what they did on Wednesday, but Nketiah's cheap and he might be a good enabler for you, especially if you have the bench boost in 36. Yeah, you're going to bench boost in 36, so I would consider Nketiah for Mateta if you can afford. You've got 1.2 million in the bank. So other than that, I think the rest is pretty much fine. What else would I really change? Not too much, really. I don't think anything else needs a big change. Madison or Coutinho on the wild card. If it wasn't for rotation, once again, I'd say Madison. I'd probably say Coutinho. Which one do you think is the best option? Saka or Kulusevski? Really tough one. If you have no Spurs coverage in terms of the attack, I probably would say Kulusevski, but I don't know. I think I'd still say Saka, and he's on penalties when Lacazette isn't on the pitch. Saka's the only Arsenal player that I thought is worth keeping, really, and I think the rest are sellable. Saka is still, I don't think is essential or anything like that, but I think he's the best Arsenal asset right now. Welcome, Alif, from Kenya. Thought bringing Mane in for a 2-week punt. Thank you very much for watching from Kenya. Very much appreciated, mate. I really like that, to be fair. He's been playing as a striker, really, in recent games. He's been in incredible form. I think so long as it doesn't jeopardise too much of your plans, I actually like that. The only thing I would consider is that Liverpool have a lot of games and there could be rotation even for the likes of Mane, despite his really good form. So take that into account. Hi, mate. Yeah, already answered that question, Derry. Yeah, try not to spam the chat. What do you think about Nketiah? Look, I don't suddenly think he's an amazing option, but we don't have too many to choose from in the forward positions. So I think Nketiah is probably one of the better ones at the moment. I think he will start against United. And at 5.4 million, you can't really go too wrong. I would normally say Mateta, but the thing is he hasn't been starting recently, and that worries me. Normally, I mean, if I'm still looking at it, Kane, Pukki and Tony are my ideal front three, but you might not be able to afford all of them. So therefore, that might make sense. And also Watkins because of the doubles he has soon. What do you think about Cancelo captain? To be fair, I think he's going to start. He's suspended in the Champions League, of course. I actually like that captaincy, but if I had Salah and a Chelsea midfielder, I think I'd still go for them instead. Welcome, Kit Tai. Hi Dylan, should I go with Trent and Alonso or Robertson and James? I would go for... that's a really good question. I don't think there's much in it between them. I'd probably say Robertson and James is my preference, but both are really good. Mo Salah's back to his best. I mean, it was one game, but he's had those underlying numbers like throughout the last 5-6 game weeks when he has been blanking or not getting big returns. So I was never really too worried. I never expected him to get 19 points against United, but they were there for the taking for sure. Who should I captain? Salah, Kane or Havertz? I wouldn't captain Kane this week, although he's still a great option. I'd go for Salah or Havertz, and I think I would go for Havertz in your case. Funnily enough, I would actually rather captain Havertz over Mason Mount potentially, but I prefer Mason Mount long term, and that's why I brought him in. So let me explain my transfers very, briefly. So I got rid of Rafinha for Mason Mount, and I used my second transfer to get Pukki in for Che Adams. Now, Che Adams could feature against Brighton in Game Week 34, but it saves me more money. That's $1 million difference in price, and then I can make other moves potentially in a few weeks' time. I'll probably talk about it later on using FPL.team. I can bring in Joao Cancelo in defence and maybe dead-end Weghorst to a Greenwood or a Gelhardt, whoever I could afford, because I think I only have 4.5 million with Joao Cancelo in mind for Matt Doherty. So that's pretty much how I'm looking at. The only change that could happen really with this team that you see on screen is the captaincy. I might end up going for Mason Mount, maybe even Reece James, but Salah, at home to Everton is really enticing, to be fair. Yeah, best captain this week, I think Havertz potentially. And to be honest, I think those three are the best that you just said, Singh. Those are the three best. I think I might go for Havertz first. Just because of the recent numbers, I'll show you that very soon as well. I'll compare him to Mason Mount across the season and also in recent games. Welcome Teza and welcome to everyone here. I set the alarm on your video, it's 4 AM here. That is crazy. Thank you very much. And that is, I'll be honest, if I were you, I'd be sleeping. And I'm actually even struggling to stay awake. Normally I don't wake up too early in the morning. Well done. In a weekend, but there you go. It's worth it definitely. And 4 AM though, thank you very much. That's all I can say really. Sterling or Mahrez? I think Sterling. I think Mahrez will be benched and Sterling will start. That's the way I see it though. Yeah, sorry, voice crack already. Great start. Rudiger has a 25% chance of playing. Is he worth starting? I think he might play the second game, but I'm not too sure about that. He's definitely missing the first one, so that's the thing. A lot of people are getting rid of him. I think he's actually the most transferred out player this week, so yes, he is worth starting, but there is a risk that he doesn't play any game at all. As long as you have squad depth to cover, you have someone like Pukki to come on, I think it's fine. Mane plus Salah, double up for me. Fair enough. I mean, Liverpool are probably the best attack in the world. I'd just be a bit mindful of Liverpool rotation, as we saw in the Champions League, match day 10, where they pretty much rested 7 key players against Benfica, but we'll wait and see. Mount and Havertz for Son and Kulusevski, or Havertz and Werner for Kane and Kulusevski. I think both of them have their merits. That's a really tough one. I think I would go for Mount and Havertz. I think that is my ideal, that's my preference. As much as Werner's been pretty impressive recently, I think I would rather go for Mount and Havertz. Do you think Matip would cover Laporte? Need extra money for a wildcard team? Well, if you can go a long way with that extra money, then yes, it is worth it. And Matip can definitely cover him. And the way it looks like is that Matip is playing in the league and Konate plays in the cups. Then again, I would have said the same about Luis Diaz and Jota, but I think that situation's a bit different. Sterling or Mahrez? For this week, Sterling. And to be honest, long term, I don't back or trust Mahrez to start most games. Sterling should start the vast majority of them, although he will be benched from time to time and is more expensive. I'd probably say Sterling. Captain, Mount or Salah? Well, right now I'm going for Salah, but it's quite difficult. Start Weghorst or Broja? I think I'd go for Weghorst, just as I have on my bench order. I've got Weghorst first. I don't think there's a huge difference between the two. Will you get Vardy for Game Week 36-37? Honestly, no, because he's been having injury issues all season, and I just can't get to him, really. I'm focusing on other avenues, such as getting Joao Cancelo potentially, and making other moves depending on if that City double goes into 36 or 37, so I'm not really looking at that. Chelsea defender options. Well, I did say Rudiger at the beginning of the week, but of course he's injured now. I think James is probably the best. Alonso is the most likely to start as a wing-back in both games. Reece James could still play as a centre-back, but after what happened against Arsenal, you would surely expect Reece James to start as a right wing-back. Obviously, we don't know. Tuchel is the one who's going to pick the lineup, but I still think James first, Alonso second, and then third, maybe Thiago Silva. If I had to do a ranking, obviously Rudiger would be top or second if he was fit, but he might miss both games. Yeah, in terms of the away kits that you can see on screen, it's just the Chrome extension. FPL away kits, Chrome extension. If you type that on Google, you'll find it. So let's see. Captain Havertz or Mount? Yes, Golden Boys, I would go for Havertz as well. But I brought in Mason Mount because I prefer him long term, if that makes any sense. Yeah, Mount or Havertz, who should I bring in? If you want someone for the long term, I'd personally go for Mason Mount. If you really want to go for a differential and target this game week for the captaincy, I would go for Kai Havertz. That's pretty much how I would go about it. Overall, who would I pick? Mason Mount, and that's what I ended up doing myself. Yeah, Salah or Mount as captain. I'm personally going for Salah at the moment, but I am 50-50 on it, if I'm being completely transparent. I'm going to actually show you the poll results that I put on my channel. I put 2 polls yesterday night. And De Gea or Ramsdale as goalkeeper, I'd go for De Gea for the double, pretty much. But I wouldn't expect much from either of them. Pukki has 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 6 games. I think that's what I read in an article. Yeah, he's been in good form recently. I think it might even be 3 assists, if I'm not mistaken, at least FPL assists. I really like Pukki at the moment. Obviously, really good performance against United, even the week before that. And also, by the way, for any of you who are looking for a striker, Timo Pukki doubles in 36. He is only 5.9 million, and Newcastle could rotate a lot this weekend. Obviously, they play Norwich, so there's quite a lot going in favour of the Finnish international. So, I just really like him, to be honest. At least more than the other strikers. Do you think I need to sell Salah? No, mate. I've been saying it for weeks now. I think he's worth holding. Obviously, you can sell him and you can still get a lot of points from De Bruyne. Maybe Bruno, although I'm not really too convinced by him. But I would personally keep Salah. Are you bench boosting phase 6? I already used it. I used it in game week 28. It wasn't the greatest, but I got points from players like Saka pretty much, or Son, however the hell I structured my bench boost. But I made a decent return on it. I wouldn't overthink the bench boost. I'm actually very happy that I've got it out of the way and now I can focus entirely on my starting 11. Good morning to you as well, the Flying Dutchman. Let me just show you a few things. So I'm going to show you the poll, actually, since we mentioned it very recently. So this is on my channel. If you subscribe and you hit the notification bell, you will get access to all of these posts and you will know when I post, and same with videos and stuff like that. So as you can see, almost 1,000 votes. Who is your captain for Double Gameweek 34? Salah leads the way with 41%. despite the fact that he has no double. Mason Mount is second with 29% and Havertz third with 23%. I'll refresh the page. I think it was only refreshed maybe just before the stream went live. But yeah, pretty much the same thing, but with more votes. Reece James with 3% and other 4%. And then if you look at the comments, for example, so yeah, Werner, that's a really interesting one by Liphook. King or Dennis, 4 or 5 moments later with my response. Timo and then Sterling. So interesting choices. I really like Sterling, by the way. From the single game week players, I think he's probably one of the better ones. And then if we go through to this, how many Chelsea players are you landing up with? 40% going with 3, 43% going with 2, just like myself, and only 12% going with 1 and 5% with absolutely none at all. So as you can see, everyone is bringing in these Chelsea players this week. I wonder what the results would be like if I put in United players. I'm personally very happy to go without them. Let's wait and see what happens in the early kickoff today. As for predicted points from Fantasy Football Hub, Marcos Alonso is the highest scoring player this week, and I, to be honest, could see that happening. Reece James is second, Mason Mount third, Kevin De Bruyne fourth, so he's the highest from the single game week players. Then you have Bruno in fifth, Ronaldo, Salah, Sancho, Mendy, Werner, Foden, Mane, Arnold, Havertz, Loftus-Cheek, Cancelo, Chalobah, De Gea, Bernardo, but yeah, Robertson as well, interesting option. But as you can see, a lot of these options, like even Bernardo Silva, who did score against Brighton, I'm not too sure about them in the long term, but pretty interesting to see Foden so high up. I'm not sure if he starts, but let's wait and see. I do like, the kind of top 5 to 10 picks, actually quite a lot overall. So this looks pretty good. And now let me show you a statistical comparison between Havertz and Mason Mount. So this is across the last 7 game weeks, or at least the last 7 matches that they've played. And as you can see, in terms of goal contributions, Mount is actually leading, but Havertz has more goals. He's got a way higher XG, over double. In terms of expected assists, though, Mason Mount is definitely the more creative force of the two. 7 big chances for Kai Havertz, Mason Mount only 2. But on the eye test, I have to say, looking at both of them, Havertz has looked good, but I think Mason Mount personally has looked even better. 3 big chances created, and also key passes, almost double the German. So these are pretty good stats. I like the shot volume as well, both very similar. Shots in the box, Kai Havertz is almost double as well with 15, but shots identical, both 16, and even more shots on target for Kai Havertz. So I still think it's pretty close, but in recent game weeks, Kai Havertz has probably edged him statistically, at least compared to the underlying numbers for the goals. And as for the whole season, that's where it's different. It's pretty much identical for the best stats like XG, for example. But big chances 9 and big chances created for Mason Mount, 13 for Kai Havertz. And you look across the board, goal contributions, shots in the box. And to be honest, Mason Mount leads in most of these stats. And even if he doesn't or trails Havertz, it's only by the finest of margins. What you have to consider, though, is that Mason Mount has played more games than Kai Havertz and more minutes. Kai Havertz has had a bit of an on and off season, and ever since he's been nailed in that Chelsea team, he's been getting quite a lot of points. And obviously against Arsenal, a little rest, and things didn't go according to plan for the Blues. But let me know, who are you going for? Comment that down in the live chat. Mason Mount or Kai Havertz? That'd be very interesting to see. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe for me. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning in today on a very early morning. We've still got around 2 hours left for the deadline. So yeah, this is going to be a blast, hopefully. Morning to you as well, Karaki. 6 p.m. here in Australia. Okay, yeah, I was looking at the time difference actually with Australia. It's impossible to, unfortunately, kind of cater to everyone's time zones and stuff. But 6 p.m. isn't too bad, 4 a.m. in New York, for example, is crazy. 1 3 a.m. Well done, dinner. 1:30 from India. Wow, yeah, that's what I mean. Absolutely different time zones. This is what I'm talking about. Luis Diaz over Robertson. Werner over Havertz in that case. I still prefer Robertson. I'm not too sure about Diaz starting all the games. I think Jota will get a start potentially against Everton this weekend. So I personally would go for Robertson. Best Chelsea defender, I think it's Reece James or Marcos Alonso. I think this week, maybe Alonso, but long term still for me, it would have to be, Reece James. I almost said Rudiger again. So let me just see if I've missed anything. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of comments coming in. So Diaz or Jota, honestly, it's really tough. I would say probably Jota. I think he's going to start more in the Prem, but I could be completely wrong about that. Would you go for Sterling over Son on a wild card? Tempted by KDB as well. Really interesting choice. I think I wouldn't, because as much as I like Sterling, even more so than Son in Game Week 34, you're booking in a transfer there. I would rather focus on other areas. So I personally just go for Son. Mount, triple captain or Werner? I personally go for Mason Mount, but Werner's definitely the more exciting pick of the two. Do I start Cher or Kulusevski? I'd probably go for Kulusevski. Welcome, George. Ramsey or Amati? To start, I think I would go for Ramsey. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of both of them this week, though. Sarr or Dubravka? I would go for Dubravka. Bruno to Saka to KDB and Mount Havertz for a -4, KDB captain. To be honest, I like that. I like those set of moves, but Bruno does have a double. That's the thing, but obviously De Bruyne is very enticing. I think it's worth the -4. Laporte or James? That's a really tough one. I think if you have no City defensive coverage, long term, I would rather have Laporte, but for this week, it's definitely Reece James. Start 1, Pukki or Watkins or Nketiah? It'd be Pukki. Mount and Pukki for a -4 for Rafinha and Laka? Yes, definitely. I think it's a great set of moves. William, I did the same thing, getting those two players in, and I got rid of Rafinha as well. Nketiah over João Pedro, Watford on the wildcard? Yes, I think so. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Nketiah's suddenly a great option, but you know, a mega differential you have on your hands. He could be playing every week up front for Arsenal. He looked very sharp against Chelsea, and to be honest, maybe Arsenal have been unfair with him, as Arteta said, because he's only had 2 starts this season and they both came in the last 2 games, so he hasn't really gotten too many minutes. I'm not sure, Rich. I haven't heard anything about Mason Mount having a problem, to be honest. De Bruyne start this game week? Yes, I think so, but let's wait and see. I could be wrong, but I think he will. What do you think about Werner? I think if you're going for any forward this week, apart from Pukki, I think Werner's right up there. But in terms of a Chelsea triple up, for me, it's still Reece James or Alonso, and then Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. That is my ideal Chelsea triple up. Thank you, Thomas. Let me know what your team is looking like. I'm not really... teams can look good on paper, but I'm not too sure. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. That's what I'm going to say. I don't want to tempt fate, basically. I'm going to go back to my team, though. And, just for those that are new and haven't seen what my team is like. But, let's wait and see. It's never a guarantee of points. Welcome, Wei, saying I'm good. What about you? Thank you for tuning in. I realise, I think it's... Well, actually, no, the time zone might not be too bad for you. Normally, it's at 7 p.m. UK time where it's a bit tricky for you. Foden, Mahrez on a wild card. I'd rather go for Foden. I think he's going to start more games in the run-in. But I don't expect either of them to start in Game Week 34, especially Mahrez. But let's wait and see. Pope or Dubravka in goal? I would go for Dubravka. Captaincy is surely skewed by ownership, though. Oh, for sure. Definitely. It definitely is. But it's still interesting that Salah is leading the way, in my opinion. We opted for Havertz. Yeah, fair enough. And Ibrahim says Mount. Someone says both. Yeah, that's what I said in my wildcard video. Before, most people would have probably said double Chelsea defence, but I wasn't really feeling it, especially with the recent performances after Arsenal and Rudiger missing out at the weekend against West Ham. To be honest, I think definitely, if you were to go for a triple up, you either go for Mason Mount and Havertz, or you go for Werner, one of those midfielders, as well as maybe a Chelsea defender there. Sterling or De Bruyne? For this week, Sterling for sure, in my opinion. Long-term De Bruyne. Azpilicueta could be top 3 defensive picks in Chelsea for the FPL. Yeah, that's a good shout as well. Azpilicueta does go under the radar sometimes. Wildcard draft, I made a wildcard video. I don't think much has changed, apart from Rudiger, who would then become Reece James in that draft. I think the rest would stay pretty much the same, actually. And maybe Nketiah for Mateta. That's pretty much the only changes from that wildcard team that I made. Play Pukki or Wood? I'd definitely go for Pukki. Who to captain? I would go for either a Chelsea midfielder or Salah, pretty much. And if you have a City midfielder like De Bruyne or Sterling, I'd be very tempted. And I think, other than that, I wouldn't really consider anyone else for the captaincy. I've gone Havertz over Mount, fair enough. And to be honest, I think this week, that could be the way to go. Noon in Mauritius. Yeah, I know someone actually from Mauritius. So it's a really nice country. I want to go in one day, actually. But yeah. If Alonso's predicted points are highest, isn't he the best captain? The thing is, though, that's obviously Fantasy Football Hub's predicted points. I don't necessarily expect him to be the highest scorer, but I think Alonso actually has arguably the highest upside of any Chelsea defender this week. He's definitely one of the best captaincy options. I think he's the only Chelsea defender other than Reece James that I'd really consider for the captaincy as well. Nketiah, thoughts? Will he continue starting? Well, against United, I would expect him to start. For example, the goals he scored against Chelsea, I don't think Lacazette could do that, for example. So, yeah, I think he will start. I don't know if he's going to start week in, week out until the rest of the season, but you never know. If he then gets a goal against United as well, it's very hard to drop him. Let's wait and see, though. But I think he is a decent option. If you're looking for a cheap striker, especially on a wildcard, why not? But Pukki's my preference for sure over Nketiah. Start Nketiah or Mateta? to be honest, I think right now I'd probably go for Nketiah, but yeah, it's a tough one. If Mateta starts, then that's where it's a bit tricky, but I'm just not too sure if he will now. Wow, it's 2:19 in Guatemala. I'm in the Netherlands though. Yeah, that is crazy. So you're in the Netherlands. Yeah, wait, okay, no, fair enough, because maybe you're from Netherlands and then you're on holiday in Guatemala, another nice country as well. Start Nketiah or Broja? I would actually start Nketiah. Ship one of Saka or Madison out in the coming weeks. Ooh. I mean, Saka has tougher fixtures, but Madison has more rotation risks, so I'd probably get rid of Madison actually. I'm not suddenly, pro Arsenal. I wouldn't triple up on Arsenal. Let's make that clear. One or two Arsenal players max, pretty much. Mahrez or Foden? Once again, I go for Foden, but I don't expect either of them to start this week. Weghorst or Broja? I already answered that question, Daniel. I would go for Weghorst out of the two. It's not really a big difference. Heidel, I'm wildcarding this week and looking to bench boost in 36. Should I have Alonso and Kulusevski in, or Nuno Tavares and Mount? Already have Havertz and James. Alonso and Kulusevski. As a duo, that's better. Nuno Tavares, I mean, I'm not backing Arsenal defensively that much. Nuno's decent going forward, but yeah, I think Alonso and Kulusevski is the way to go, Ben. You've already got Havertz as well. Salah, Havertz or Mount captain? I'd personally go for Havertz out of the three. Do you think Matip would cover Laporte? Yeah, I think I already answered this question as well. I think, yes, he does cover him. Mane captain. It's not a bad option for sure. Yeah, I think it's a good option, definitely. But I would prefer others instead. Yeah, Rudiger injured. If Salah keeps on playing, then it means rest in peace defence. Yeah, the thing is, though, even with Rudiger just out, whether it's Malang Sarr, Christensen, or whoever playing, that's a huge blow. Rudiger and Thiago Silva, for me, are the two best Chelsea defenders. And if any of them miss out, Chelsea are quite susceptible defensively. So I agree. That's why I'm not looking to get another Chelsea defender in. And to be honest, with Rudiger out, who am I going to go to, really? Maybe Marcus Alonso, to be fair. But yeah, I'm happy with a double up in Chelsea. I don't need a triple up, in my opinion. Aranya, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Replacement for Barnes. I'd say Mount or Havertz for sure, if you have enough money. My target is to beat you at the end of the season, currently on 24k. Well, currently you are achieving that. There's a 16-point difference between us. Obviously, good luck. Hopefully you get into the top 10k. I think that's a realistic target for you, and I think it'd be more impressive than beating me, in my opinion. Who to transfer Rudiger out for? I already have James, Cancelo, Van Dijk and Livramento. I'm not sure what your budget is, Mickey, but I would go for another Liverpool defender, whether it's Robertson or Trent. Yeah, I'd go for Jota, Abdu, over Luis Diaz, but they're going to share minutes, basically. Have you already made your transfers? Yes, I have. Yeah. Thoughts on Werner? I think, so I've mentioned Kane, Tony and Pukki a lot over the last few weeks. The other strikers that are really catching my eye are Werner and Nketiah now. Then you still have Mateta if he can get that place back. And then who else? Maybe Ronaldo. Other than that pool of strikers, the rest I'm not really considering. Obviously, for those of you that are wildcarding, Watkins, Dennis makes sense, for example. But yeah, I think Werner's right up there. I think he's probably in the top 5 strikers right now. Do you think Maguire will play today? Apparently he's not playing. I saw something from a United news outlet, I believe, that Maguire's going to be dropped by Ralf Rangnick. And I'm not sure if it's to do with the threat that he had recently, which is obviously unacceptable, or just, because of performances. So let's wait and see. But yeah, other than that, if it wasn't for me seeing that, kind of rumour, I would have definitely said I think he's going to play still. Fernandes or Sterling? I actually prefer Sterling. So yeah. Is it worth selling KDB to Sterling? No, because I think KDB will start as well. I just think that Sterling is more likely to start out of the two this week, but long term, KDB's more nailed. 5-4-1. Correction, says Vicky. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, free hit. Okay, so let's see this free hit team. De Gea in goal, James, Alonso, Cancelo, Trent, Laporte, Elanga, Jota, Havertz, Salah, Ronaldo. That's a really good team, actually. I don't have too many problems with it. I'm not a big fan of Elanga, but then again, he could get an attacking return or two against Arsenal, definitely, and even against Chelsea with the form they're in. So I actually like that team a lot. I really like Jota. If he starts, that's a great shout. Havertz captaincy, Ronaldo up front. I think you have everything you need, really. I don't trust United defensively, but De Gea could maybe get some save points or something. But looking at him recently, I think he's conceded 10 goals of the last 18 shots United have conceded. So I would maybe take that with a pinch of salt and maybe go for someone else. But that's a good team, Vicky. I like it. Thank you for the super chat. Darshan, much appreciated. Kulusevski to Elanga for a -4. Next game, Bernardo Silva in for him. Honestly, mate, no. I would just keep Kulusevski and save your transfers. I personally think he could, somewhat match Elanga this week and outscore Bernardo Silva until the end of the season. So I'd personally keep Kulusevski. Thank you for the super chat. And obviously back your gut in all cases, but I personally would just keep Kulusevski. I don't think it's worth the -4 to go to Elanga and then Bernardo Silva. Golden Boys, I'd play Pookie, mate. Sterling or Son this week for the free hit? Sterling. For the free hit, I'd go for Sterling. Start Share or Nketiah? That's a really good question. I think Nketiah has a higher ceiling. Who would have thought I'd have said that a week ago? I'd probably say Fabian Schär still. I'm expecting 100 points this game week. Good luck, mate, and hopefully you achieve it. I was very close last week, with 91. This week, I'd be happy with something similar, not necessarily with 100. Would you take out Kulusevski, Madison, or Saka to get in Mount? I'd actually get rid of Madison because of the rotation risk. If it wasn't for that, then it would probably be one of Saka or Kulusevski. Jota, Luis Diaz, Jota, mate, Jota. Haven't used the triple captain yet. Which other game week to use it except game week 36? 37. So if City have a double, that game against Wolves gets thrown in there, then you could triple captain De Bruyne, which could be amazing, by the way. Otherwise, the options do wear a little bit thin if you're not looking at 36 as well. Dubravka or Jose Sarr, I'd go for Dubravka. Abir puts his wildcard team. I like it a lot. I'd just be a bit skeptical about a few players like Madison because of rotation, but apparently Madison starts today, by the way, just for any of you that aren't aware. I can't remember his name, but I think he's called Sam in the Twitter community, but he's got inside information with Leicester. So Barnes isn't playing today, apparently, but Madison does. So, if I got anything there wrong, I'm not trying to misquote anyone, then obviously I apologise, but I believe that is the right information. My defence is a shambles right now with Rudiger out. I've got Doherty and Tierney as well, so I don't even have 3 playing defenders now, and that's thrown all of my previous transfer plans out of the window. I was in a similar situation last week to you, Aranya, and that's why I got Fabian Schär in. Now my defence looks a bit more solid, even though Schär plays City and Liverpool soon. But this can happen very quickly. You could have a really solid looking, part of your team, and then 1 or 2 injuries happen, or different situations, and then everything is just completely out of the window, and you have to adapt basically. Which game week is the best for the wild card? I'd personally say 34, but it might depend. Yogesh, you might have a double or triple up in Chelsea already, and you have a solid team, and therefore you could wildcard in 35 as well. Elanga over Kulusevski, not for me, mate, honestly. James or Alonso? I still prefer James, and why? Because I think he will play as a right wing back. I could be wrong about that, but I just prefer Reece James. When he plays as a right wing back, I think he's the most threatening Chelsea player, probably in their entire team, along with Mason Mount. So I personally would go for Reece James. Rafinha, Barnes or Kulusevski to Mount? I'd say Barnes. I don't think he's starting today, based on what I said. Harry Maguire should start. Yeah, we'll wait and see, but either way, I just saw a kind of rumour. I'm not even sure what the source is entirely, and obviously that's why maybe what I said isn't really worth considering. Maguire not starting is bad for Arsenal. Potentially, but let's wait and see. I think it's going to be tougher for Arsenal than people think. I saw some, for example, Spurs fans thinking that Arsenal are going to smack United. I don't think so, personally, but you never know. Maguire's a big miss for Arsenal. Jesus. I've never seen a player who's so memed than him, to be honest. I'm not even partaking in them right now. Exactly. Sam Martin, FPL, best in the know in the Twitter community. Thank you very much for the clarification. Yeah, that was it. Thank you very much. Will Jesus start? I actually think so, mate. I think he could start. He's actually linked with a move to Arsenal in the summer. Yeah, I think so. West Ham and United aren't easy fixtures for Chelsea, but Salah may lack minutes. I agree. Either way, I mean, look, I'm not trying to, disrespect United. They're still obviously a big club, but right now with the form they're in, I think it's a good fixture for Chelsea even. Chelsea have been scoring goals. Their problem is letting them in. So I would expect maybe even a high-scoring game there between both, but the likes of Mason Mount and Havertz could do really well. Should I take a hit to get Mount if I have Havertz? It depends who you get rid of, Alex, but you don't need Mason Mount necessarily. Start Dubravka or Sarr? I'd go for Dubravka. The qualifying this week is probably the most chaos I've seen off the Spa. Yeah. And once again, the same result, Verstappen P1 basically. But as you could see, everyone had more speed left in them. But the conditions were so tricky, and Bottas, Norris, all these different drivers, Magnussen, who finished 4th, by the way, that's crazy. All of them going off. Should be interesting. I like him a lot, despite obviously the history. Suggest some differentials for this game week. Captaining Havertz is one differential. Marcos Alonso, Timo Pukki, Nketiah. I think those are some good differentials for this week. Jorginho punt, yeah, I think so. He definitely is, actually. And I think Kovacic is out, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I'd say so. Team review. I did a team review at the beginning of the video, of the stream, talking about how Game Week 33 went. So yeah, there's not much more to really add there. Saka obviously got the penalty goal and the bonus point ever since I made my team selection video, and the same thing goes for Cher getting a clean sheet and a bonus point. How bad is Rudiger's injury? Well, he's out for the first game against West Ham, but he could be back against United. I'm not sure about that, by the way, but obviously that's left to interpretation. He's definitely out for the first game. That's what Tuchel said. Captain Salah, James or Mount? I'd either go for Salah or Mount, personally, and right now I'm going for Salah. I might change it though. Let me just be completely, frank with you. Will Thiago Silva play? I believe so. He was basically benched in the last 2 Premier League games, so I think he should start. Thank you, Darshan, for the super chat again. Thank you very much. With Doherty out, could Kulusevski fill up the right back spot? I don't think so. I think it's just going to be Emerson. If anything, Lucas Moura is the kind of player we all looked at and thought he could be the one playing as a right wing back. He's never really sufficed, but I think it would be Kulusevski still. Why would Spurs, in my opinion, kind of disrupt their attacking flow with Kulusevski then being dropped as a right wing back? I think it would be still Emerson Royal. On the left-hand side, it could be Sessegnon or Reguilon, really. That's the one that's open to debate. But for me, Emerson is probably going to be the starting right back or right wing back for the rest of the season, really. You never know. If Kulusevski goes into the right wing back spot, you're obviously, way ahead of the curve. But I just don't see it. You never know, obviously, but I think he's just best on the right wing. Thank you very much for the super chat, mate. Much appreciated. It's good talking to you as always. Thank you very much, mate. Is De Bruyne going to start? I think so, Abdu, yes. Salah in for Son and Cancelo in for Rudiger for 2 free transfers, yes. To be honest, I like it a lot, Nabil, yeah. Hey, Dylan, would you play this bench boost? Forster, Cher, Mateta and Watkins. That's a pretty decent bench, to be fair. The thing is, I'm not sure if Mateta starts. Forster against Brighton away, not bad. Cher playing Norwich away and Watkins Leicester away. It's not a bad bench boost actually, and you could just get rid of it and focus on your 11. So if you're in a position where you need to make a lot of transfers and take a lot of hits to get a good bench boost in 36, then yes, you could use it this week. But I personally would maybe still reconsider and go for 36 personally. Pope or Ramsdale? This week maybe Nick Pope, but I saw a stat actually that Arsenal, whenever they've beaten Man United at the Emirates, they haven't conceded a goal basically. So I don't know. I just don't like Arsenal's defence at the moment. The same goes for Burnley, to be fair, but I'd probably go for Nick Pope. Should I play Saka over Kulusevski? I'm not sure if I play Saka over Kulusevski, but I definitely wouldn't want to bench either of them. I think I showed a transfer plan in the last team selection video where I took a -4, I had triple Chelsea and I had Saka benched. I'm quite happy to not bench Saka right now, basically. But yeah, if I had to pick, no, I'd rather start Kulusevski if I had to pick one. Start De Gea or Ramsdale? I'd go for De Gea, just about. Thiago Silva is a start or backline a buffet. Yeah, true. He did make I'd say a mistake for the 3rd goal for Arsenal, but he's obviously a quality defender. And I don't know about Christensen. I think he started the season well. I don't know what's happened to him. Obviously, you probably know more than me about that. Wait, what do you say, Karaki? That's the guy finished 3rd in the Ballon d'Or rankings, being benched for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. To be fair, Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been playing as a kind of right wing back and Reece James as a right centre back. But yeah, look, Jorginho finishing 3rd. I've always said this was a farce, and he didn't. He won the European, was it the UEFA Best Player? I said it at the time. It's a complete farce. It's because obviously he won the Euros and the Champions League, and that award favours players who win the awards or the trophies, really. So Jorginho should never be anywhere near the top 10 in my opinion. Yes, he had a great year and he's not a bad player, but he's never top 3 players in the world. Let's be quite frank about that. Foden okay, Sterling? Yep, definitely. I think Sterling is going to start this week. I don't know about Foden. I probably think he won't. But long term, I'd rather have Foden out of the two. Martinelli or Elanga? For the double, maybe Elanga, but I'm not a big fan of either. I think Martinelli could be benched again. It could be Smith-Rowe on the left, Nketiah up front, Odegaard attacking midfield, and Saka right. That could be the lineup in the forward positions. Thank you, Darshan, for becoming a differential. Thank you very much, mate. It's much appreciated. And thank you to all the channel members like Wanja, Yorang, Rock and Roll, Aranya. There's so many of you, so thank you very much. It's much appreciated as always. Flying Dutchman, of course. Thoughts on Brighton? Obviously, they lost 3-0 to City. I mean, who doesn't, get easily beat by City? But those performances against Arsenal and Spurs, very encouraging. I was talking about selling them, basically, around that time, and they've obviously proved me wrong. But, which assets would I consider? Right now, none of them. So basically, if you have someone like Truss or someone like that, you could maybe consider keeping them. But I personally just would rather go without any of them, despite how good they've been recently. Yeah, Johan, I already answered that question a few times. I think, yes, Matip can cover Laporte. Alonso or Laporte, I think because of the double, I'd probably go for Alonso. But long term, I'd argue that Laporte is the better option. So it just depends how your team is lining up and what you're thinking about doing. Broja or Fabian Schär? Fabian Schär this week. Doherty to Matip and Saka to Mount. I like those transfers, to be fair, James France. Yeah, James Franco. Yeah, I think so. Those are good transfers. Why isn't Nketiah suddenly being considered on so many wildcards? To be honest, mate, it's because he's cheap. And, you know, you look at Mateta, he hasn't started in the last 2 games. And he was the kind of main striker we were looking at around that price. There is João Pedro, to be fair, as well. Or Dennis. But Nketiah could be decent. You know, I'm not saying he's suddenly an amazing option, but if Mateta's being benched in recent games, Nketiah just scored 2 goals against Chelsea, came off early, probably is going to start against United as well. You know, there could be points in for him. So, yeah, you know, he's cheap. There's not much to lose, and he's a differential, so a way of gaining rank as well. Yeah, Lacazette is back, and, you know, it'd be an absolute... Imagine seeing the lineup and Lacazette starts and then Nketiah's benched. You know, Arsenal fans would go furious, and I don't know about that. But in the long term, you're right. Lacazette could take some minutes out of him. That is true. Let's see. No, Mohammed. No, I'm not. Christensen transferred to Barcelona, so he's literally trolling every game. Yeah, I'm just still not too sure why, though. You know, I remember he was man of the match at Anfield, you know, and how many times is an opposition player man of the match at Anfield these days? Yeah, I don't know what's happened to him, really. Hi Dylan, take a -4, Kane to Ronaldo, thanks. I honestly wouldn't, mate. Look, then again, I said the same thing in Game Week 33. I wouldn't do it, and it was worth it. So, back your gut there. He's got a double Game Week. Ronaldo can score a few goals for sure in both games, but I don't know. I would still like to keep Kane if possible. Will Mount or Havertz play both games? I think Havertz will, off the back of that rest. Mount has played a lot of games consecutively, so there is a doubt about him, but obviously, in the grand scheme of things, Mount is the more nailed player out of the two. Yeah, James, I like those transfers. Is Son essential this week and going forward? So, he's not absolutely essential, but I still think Son, for me, is the second best premium in the game. So, it's Salah and Son, for me, are the 2 best, and that's why I've just had them for a long time. Happy to have both of them. And it also isn't too expensive. You know, Son isn't still, I think, 11 million. You know, that's a really good price for him. He probably will be 11.5 or something next year, or something like that. So, yeah, I still would keep Son if possible. Mateta or Madison, whom to bench? I'd actually bench Mateta. Madison's going to start today, according to Sam in the know. I keep forgetting his name now, don't I? De Gea or Ramsdale, I'd start De Gea, but there's not much in it. Captain Havertz or Alonso, I'd go for Havertz. Rudiger, Martinelli, Kane to Laporte, Son, Pukki, Manasseh. Yes, I'd go ahead with it, but be very cautious, Christian, about getting rid of Kane. That's the only problem I have with that. Mateta, Weghorst and Jacob Ramsey play 1. Normally I'd say Mateta, but right now, you know, I'm not too sure if he's going to start or not. I'd maybe start Mateta, but he might come on for a 1-pointer for you. Rudiger to Alonso or Laporte, if I already have James and Cancelo. I would rather double up on City defence, Ben, but with the double in mind, Alonso's definitely the more explosive pick, and, you know, he could be amazing differential. So it just depends how you're going to play it. If you want someone for the long term, just go for Laporte. If you want to target this game week in particular, go for Alonso. What's the best wildcard for a Game Week 36 bench boost? It's pretty much what I had in my best wildcard team, except a few changes. So instead of Mateta, you go for Nketiah. And to be honest, I'd probably change that in general now. And if not, there's Dennis. So you're having a front three, something like that. So you've got Pukki, maybe Dennis or Watkins and Nketiah. What else would we change? I think, yeah, so that would also replace Gelhardt, who was in that wildcard team, you know, just for pure bench fodder reasons. In the midfield, you could have a enabler like Dewsbury Hall, Gordon or Ramsey. I'd probably go for Gordon or Dewsbury Hall in particular, though, but I think, you know, all of them are pretty good. And actually, you know, Aston Villa do have back-to-back doubles in 36 and 37. To be honest, all of them are pretty good. So, yeah, that's pretty much the only changes I would make. Also, James in for Rudiger. Or Alonso, if you don't have the money to make the other moves as well. Would you get rid of Tony for Pukki? Tough one, because I still like Tony a lot, even against Tottenham and Man United. So I personally wouldn't, but, you know, if that's your only way to get Pukki and it's for a free transfer, then yes, go ahead with it. But I would rather have both, if anything. Werner and Coutinho or Richarlison and Havertz? I think I'd go for Werner and Coutinho, actually. Havertz will play both because Lukaku never proves himself every time he starts. It's crazy because at the beginning of the season, he was looking pretty decent. He's scoring in a few games against Arsenal, of course. Then again, he was playing against Mari and stuff, but he scored and he was looking all right. I don't know what's happened to him, to be honest. Why captaining Salah over Mount? I'm actually 50-50 on it. I haven't completely decided. It's just because he's facing Everton, one of the worst teams in the league. Liverpool are in great form. Salah's on the back of a 19-point haul. I just captained him against Man United. And I trust Salah the most of any player in FPL. So that's pretty much the way I look at it. Obviously, I could be wrong, and I might still change it. But, there's a lot of reasons to go for Salah, in my opinion. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so you never miss a single upload or stream. It'd be much appreciated. And we are now, an hour left? We now have an hour left until the deadline. So, yeah, it should be pretty crazy. Pretty crazy indeed. But yeah, we've gone through a lot of questions already. We'll try to go through these quickly as well. I'm going for Kulusevski, not Madison. We'll get him in 36. Who should I go for? James or Alonso or Pukki or Tony? I would go for James and Pukki a beer. Madison to Mount, yes, but bear in mind that Madison is starting today. He is starting. Barnes isn't. Lacazette to Pukki and Rafinha to Havertz for a -4. I like it, mate. I'd probably do it, Jack. Yes. I saw a similar set of transfers by someone else in the stream. I think it's worth it. Gaeta or Sanchez on a free hit? Great question. I think I would go for Gaeta. Although Southampton have been really poor, but typically those games between Brighton and Southampton end in like a 2-1 either side. So, yeah. Only have one Chelsea player, Thiago Silva. That's something I haven't heard before. And to be fair, Thiago Silva could be decent. He has some aerial threat as well. Barnes to Mount or keep Barnes? I'd get rid of Barnes. He isn't playing today, I think. So, yeah. Thanks. Take an extra -4 to go. Rudiger to Laporte long term. Already have KDB. The thing is, maybe this week it won't pay off, but in the long term it does. James? Yes, I think it might be worth it, actually. But then if Rudiger plays the second game against United, you never know. Chelsea could keep a clean sheet there. Let me just have a short little break. Don't worry, we'll be back very soon. I'm just going to have the predicted points on screen again. Just a quick water break, and then we'll be back. Just a few seconds. So bear with me for a second. Otherwise, I'll probably do some more voice cracks. All right, we're back, and just a recap of the kind of top 10. As you can see, a lot of Chelsea and United players making up that list, as well as Salah, De Bruyne, and then you have a few interesting options like Foden as well. But yes, let me know actually in the live chat, who do you think is going to be the highest scoring player in Game Week 34? That should be an interesting one. But what we're going to do now is go back to the FPL team here. And just give me a second here. I'm just going to check something on YouTube, see if it's all good. It probably won't be, as it always is. But what can we do? Yeah, Jesus, YouTube can be a funny little platform sometimes. All right, let me just sort this out quickly. And there we go. All right, so yeah. If you see anything on Twitter, by the way, any bit of news, then let me know. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. I'd be surprised if we get anything new. Any news before the deadline. Gallagher versus Zaha, thoughts? It's clear that Zaha right now is the better option, we're saying, for me, and Gallagher's been very inconsistent over the last 15 game weeks, I'd say. So yeah, I think Zaha's the pick, but I don't think you need him necessarily. What do I do with 2 free hits and a bench boost? Bench boost 36 would still probably be the plan. Free hit in maybe 34 and 37. Otherwise, what you could do, well, to be fair, yeah, you can't obviously use it in back-to-back weeks. Maybe 34 and 38, but it just depends how your team is lining up. But I'd say 34, 37 free hits, and in 36 bench boost. Mateta, Adams, Livramento, start 1. Normally it'd be Mateta, but I'm not sure if he does start. I'd probably say Mateta. Double timeout. Yeah, I'm not even... Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you very much, Lager, for sorting out. Yeah, I don't know. It's... Yes, I don't know why. Yeah, it's just spammers, really. Hi, Dylan. If you had Son and Kane, would you switch Kane to Ronaldo for one game week for a -4? I honestly wouldn't, Matthew. Then again, I said the same ahead of game week 33, and it was probably a mistake, but, you know, I just don't trust United enough to really go for a -4 and really go for their assets, and I still would rather have Kane until the end of the season. Thank you very much, Matthew. Hopefully you have a green arrow too. Hey Dylan, torn between Mount and Kai captain. I'd actually go for Kai Havertz. The only reason I went for Mount myself is because I think he's a better long-term option. What midfielders to get from City? Long-term De Bruyne and Foden. For this game week is Sterling. Mount going to start both games? I'd hope so. But I think it's less likely than Havertz because obviously what happened in game week 33 with Mason Mount starting and Havertz being benched and coming off. Thoughts on Bernardo Silva? Not really much to say. You know, he scored against Brighton, but I wouldn't go for him. Against Watford, he actually has a bit of history. He scored a hat-trick in a 9-0 victory, I think it was, a few years back, but I wouldn't really consider him other than that. Is it confirmed that Barnes will not be starting today? Well, someone in the know for Leicester said he's not starting and Madison is, so I think it's pretty set on, I think. Mount highest scorer, not biased because I haven't captain. Yeah, well, he's got 10 goals and 10 assists. You know, he's having a pretty good season, all things considered. Kane to Werner. I'm seeing a lot of these kind of shouts this week. I personally wouldn't, but I mean, do you have much to lose? Werner could outscore him this week for sure. He's got those 2 games. Then you can always make the reverse, potentially. But I don't know. I'd personally just keep Kane. Maybe I'm being a bit too boring there. Welcome, Chelsea Blues. Start Shea or Ramsey. I'd go for Shea still, definitely. What's the chance of Havertz and Mount starting both? Look, I'm not going to put a percentage on it, but I think Havertz is a bit more likely. I think they're both likely, but Havertz even more so with the rest he had in game week 33. Free from James, Rudiger, Mount and Kai. Well, basically the one I drop is Rudiger because he's injured for the first game, Sarria. Son or Diaz this game week? Son, because I'm not even sure Diaz starts. I think it might be Jota, Mane, Salah, or even Firmino actually. He could come in, and then Diaz starts in the Champions League against Villarreal. Drop Sancho for Zaha. Well, if you have Sancho with a double game week in mind, I wouldn't drop him just yet, but I definitely would heading into game week 35 onwards. Weghorst or Antonio start, or paid transfer for Pukki. Let me just remind myself of, apologies for this, but just remind myself of the fixtures quickly, see both of them on screen. Yeah, no, I would go for Weghorst actually. Yeah, and Antonio's been awful, by the way. First 3 game weeks, I thought we had, a revelation of an FPL asset, but yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. Kulusevski to Bernardo Silva? No, not for me, Lager. I'd rather keep Kulusevski. Thank you once again for moderating the chat. Sorry. Deadly for you too. My team have 2 free transfers: Kane to Son, Weghorst to Mateta. Honestly, I wouldn't do that because Mateta's actually not started in the last few games. So I just don't think it's worth it. If you wanted to go for another striker, I would go for Pukki, or maybe you could go for Nketiah. But I wouldn't go for Mateta right now, honestly, Deadly. But that's a good team. I don't think you need to make those transfers necessarily. But, that's a good team. And I do like the transfer plans overall, but I wouldn't get Mateta. Hi, Dylan. Have you heard about Conte keen to move to PSG this summer? Yes, the other day I did. I'm not sure if it's true, by the way, but it wouldn't surprise me too much, actually. I don't see him being at Spurs for too long, whether it's he leaves this summer or next summer. But let's wait and see. But yeah, him at PSG, he's actually got a pretty awful European record. So, PSG wants someone who can win the Champions League ultimately. And they got rid of Tuchel and Emery, who had really good, records in the Champions League, or at least in European competitions. So, yeah, let's wait and see. But I don't know. It's rumours, basically. Gordon or Dewsbury Hall? Not much to separate them. Maybe Gordon, just because he's less likely to be benched because of the Europa Conference League kind of influencing or at least disrupting Leicester's plans in the Prem. Sell Rudiger for James, sell Fernandinho, not Fernandinho, probably not. Wait, sell Fern for Mount and Havertz -8. Well, to be honest, yes. Maybe I'm getting the Fern bit wrong, but I think I like those moves. Would you start White over Weghorst? Maybe, actually, yes. I'm not a big fan of either of them, actually, this week, but maybe I would, Paul. I'm 50-50 on it. Yeah, Mane is flying under the radar. He definitely is. And actually, in UCL Fantasy, I really want him, but it would be at the detriment to my entire squad depth. Yeah, Arda, I think both will start, potentially. It's a possibility for sure, and it could be one of Mane or Salah being benched. You never know. I actually might still change the captaincy to Mount, by the way, just to make that very clear. I'm not trying to delay it until as late as possible. It's just something I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head as well. Say, start or sell? He's going to start today, actually. Thank you for reminding me, actually. I almost forgot. So let me bring up this piece of news that I saw. It's from yesterday. So bear with me for a second. All right, so here we go. This is a tweet I saw. This is from the press conference from Bruno Lage. So Neves, Podence and Kilman are all out. Neves potentially back for Brighton or Chelsea. So that, Kilman being out paves the way for Roman Saiss coming back in. So if you have him, I'd probably keep him for this game week at least. Then you could consider selling him. So let me know what you're going to do with your Wolves assets. But that's the way I'm looking at it, Arya Man. Hopefully you got that. Who has the highest ceiling this game week? I'd say Havertz, Alonso, James, Mount and Salah. Well, to be honest, there's so many names. On top of those names I just mentioned, there is Sterling and De Bruyne. So I think all of those players I just mentioned have the highest ceiling. Then watch it be someone like Bruno again, Bruno Guimaraes. Kulusevski or a City midfielder? Honestly, I'd rather have Kulusevski because he's way cheaper. He's got a double in 36. Obviously, City will have a double in 36 or 37. But yeah, I think Kulusevski's better value for money. But yeah, I like City midfielders like Foden long term, and I like Sterling this week. I like De Bruyne long term, but it's a question of squad depth as well, and also your team structure, should we say. But yeah, let's go back to our team. I'm starting Jose Sa myself, by the way, over the likes of Ramsdale. Just by the way, a little tip, by the way. Whenever I bench Ramsdale, he tends to get a big return. So, I'm just putting it out there. I don't want to jinx it or anything. I would rather bench points than, start Ramsdale and Arsenal lose. But I'm just saying, whenever I bench Ramsdale, he gets points. Nowhere he leaves is Spurs in the Champions League. But to be honest, PSG is a much more attractive proposition. But let's wait and see. Conte isn't a long-term manager. That's kind of proven throughout his whole career. Apart from Juventus, where he had a little bit of a longer stint. Wildcard team optimal. Pretty much what I did in my best wildcard team video, in my opinion, on the Monday. The only changes are Nketiah for Mateta, and what's the other change? I think there was one more change that I would make, but yeah, that's the big change that I would make from that. Oh yeah, Reece James in for Rudiger. Yeah, who to captain? Once again, I go for Havertz personally. Yeah, Fernandes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's me just being pretty special, basically. But yeah, thank you, Fan Dutchman. I probably would still do it, to be honest, but it's risky to get rid of Bruno Fernandes in a double game week, despite his form. James plus Pedro plus Dewsbury Hall plus versus Alonso plus Dennis. Okay, wait, let me try and break this down. Yeah, so I think I would go for... There's not much in it, by the way. I think Alonso, Dennis, Gordon looks slightly better, Sing. Should I play Weghorst or Broja over Mateta? I'd probably go for Weghorst. Start Weghorst, Watkins or Broja. I'd actually go for Watkins of the three. Yeah, Luke Martin, I'm not using any app. I'm using the website. So if you type in FPL Away Kits Chrome extension and you add it to your browser, you will then have the Away Kits, basically. James versus Alonso. I prefer James personally. But if James plays as a centre-back, that's where I would rather have Alonso. Now, James has been playing in that position recently, but I would expect him to shift to the right wing-back spot very soon. Cody, Willock, Weghorst or Mateta, start two. I'd start Cody and Willock maybe. Yeah. Although I'm not a big fan of Willock right now. Yeah, then I'm keeping Sace. No problem, mate. It should be the case, by the way. If Bruno Lage does something different and benches Sace, then I don't know what to say to you. But yeah, that should be the case. Kane and Kulusevski out. Maybe one of them, but I wouldn't get rid of both. I think even if they lose to Brentford or drop points, I think they could score a few goals against them. Sterling or Foden? I'm not sitting on the fence, but just to be very clear, I prefer Foden long term. But for this game specifically, I think Sterling starts, Foden doesn't. And therefore, Sterling has a much higher ceiling, and I think he's a better option. He's a bit of a flat track bully, so I would go for Sterling this week, long term, Phil Foden. Yeah, I've got another of these goalkeeper questions. I go for Dubravka, honestly, over Jose Sa. Thank you for the super chat, Marius. Much appreciated. Why Salah captain over Mount? Honestly, it's a 50-50 decision. I might even change it. I've got an hour left for the deadline. The reason why I've done it, or why I'm currently going for it, is because Salah is just the most consistent FPL option, probably of all time. And also, look, he's off the back of a 19-point return against United. He's facing one of the worst teams in the league in Everton. Even in 70 minutes, I think Salah could get a big return. So look, I'm not definitely going for it. I might change it in the end, but I don't think it's a bad thing to go for Salah. I think he still has a higher ceiling than most double game week players this week, just like he did in the last game week. Broja going to be benched? It's a possibility, to be fair. It definitely is. He's been awful for a long time, at least FPL-wise. When do you think Ten Hag will win a trophy of United? I don't think that should be the main priority for United. Look, obviously they've gone 5 years without a trophy. I remember when Arsenal went for an 8 or 9 year trophy drought. It constantly gets mentioned by the media. It becomes a thing. I'll be honest, like the media haven't really mentioned it too much. It's mainly rival fans and stuff from what I've seen. But I think the main thing is just getting rid of the deadwood and getting in the right players. That is the main thing. Building the foundations, then competing and challenging for trophies. But I think he could win one within 2 or 3 years. He could win a Carabao or an FA Cup. He could even challenge for the league. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. City and Liverpool are on a different level to everyone else in the league. But I wouldn't rule out United, from challenging fairly soon. If they make the right recruitment and they get rid of the players, the bad apples and the players that ultimately haven't been good signings, I think United can definitely be back on track sooner than we expected. Yes, they finished second last year a bit, I wouldn't say luckily, but there were kind of context has to be provided. Liverpool had an off season with so many injuries. Chelsea, changed manager throughout the season, and Lampard wasn't doing it for the first half. Arsenal were just constantly rebuilding and finishing 8th, and City were the only consistent team. But I think United could easily get a second or third place finish within the next year or two even. Realistically, I'd say 3 years, that's when he could win a trophy. If you had to put a realistic trophy date to it. But honestly, I could see him winning one before that. Thank you, Lager, for moderating the chat once again. Much appreciated. Che Rodriguez, as a striker in a 4-5-1. Che Rodriguez or is it Che Adams? Either way, I'm not a big fan of either of them. Che Rodriguez or Che Adams. I'm guessing you're saying Jay Rodriguez from Burnley, but honestly, I'm not a big fan. He has been in decent form recently, but if I were to go 4-5-1, as you can see on screen, I'd go for Pukki. Either Pukki, Tony, Kane. I'm missing a striker, aren't I? Watkins for the long term. There's one other striker. Nketiah maybe. Who knows? Maybe Nketiah. Rudiger to play either game this week. He's ruled out for the first game, Kumar, as we talked about at the beginning of the stream. So Tuchel ruled him out for the game against West Ham, but he maybe, he hasn't been ruled out yet. He could feature against United. Mason Mount or Kai Havertz. Long-term Mason Mount, so that's my preference. But if you're looking for this game week, it's Kai Havertz. So free hit, Kai Havertz. Long-term Mason Mount. Bench one of Pukki, Kulusevski and Watkins. It would have to be Watkins for me. Hi Dylan, would you bring Sterling in for Son? I already have Kane. As much as I like Sterling a lot for this game week, I personally wouldn't, especially if it means you're going to take hits in future weeks to then maybe bring back Son or make other transfers. Son or Sterling? Sterling this week, long-term Son. So if you have Son, just keep him. But if you have neither of them, or you're wildcarding, you can have Sterling, maybe book in a transfer for 35 or 36 and get Son back in. But that's the way I'd go about it. Best Chelsea defender, James and Alonso for me. Rudiger would normally be up there, but he's obviously out for the first game. Should I bench Weghorst or Broja? I would bench Broja out of the two, but I'm not a big fan. Ronaldo to Werner -4. I wouldn't do it for a -4. I think Ronaldo could score against Arsenal and even Chelsea. But yeah, I wouldn't do it for a -4. Salah to Mane to fund KDB. Look, I really like that, but I wouldn't get rid of Salah. I just never would really get rid of him, especially off the back of a 19-point haul. Buy Mount or Havertz for this week? For this week specifically, Havertz. What is the chances of Ronaldo starting? I think he's starting. He's been in training for several days now. I think he starts, personally. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. Will Matip start, Dylan? I believe so. I think he's starting the league games and Kanate starts in the Champions League. Would you start Nketiah over Martinelli? If this is in the FPL, then yes. If this is in real life, yes, I probably would as well. Although you could even play Martinelli on the left, but then do you bench Smith-Rowe, who looked really good against Chelsea? I probably would bench Martinelli, actually, yes. It'd be very harsh to bench Nketiah after he scored 2 goals. How many times has an Arsenal striker delivered on their XG and actually overperformed? Not that many. Start Ramsey or Weghorst? I'd go for Weghorst. Play Alex Telles or Coutinho? Good question. I mean, I'd probably just go for the double gameweek player, but that could really go back to bite you. I mean, it's a tough one. I'd probably go for Telles, reluctantly. So Foden on the bench and not playing this week. Obviously, it's just my opinion, but based on the predicted lineups from City fans and those that watch City week in, week out, they think Foden's going to be benched, same with Mahrez. And to be honest, I kind of share their sentiment. I think De Bruyne will start and Sterling, maybe Gabriel Jesus. I'm not sure about the rest though. Kane or Ronaldo for today? Well, for this game week, I would argue that Ronaldo's better for the double game week. I think he could score against both teams that he's up against. They're not in the greatest of form defensively, so yes, but long-term Kane for me. Start White, Ramsey or Broja? I would go for White or Broja. I'm not a big fan of any of them this week. Any Brighton midfielder suggestions? None really. Maybe Trossard or McAllister if you want a cheeky pump, but honestly, I wouldn't do it. No problem. I always lie. What a name, by the way. Doherty to Cancelo or Madison to Sterling and play Thomas. Oof. I like the Madison to Sterling move, but Madison's playing today. I will do Doherty to Cancelo, mate. Mesut Ozil. Just did Rudiger to Alonso. I like that move, Ben. I like it. Barnes out or keep. I would actually get rid of him. He's not playing today, and he's just a constant rotation risk. Same goes for Madison, to be fair. Field one of White, Mateta or Barnes this game week. Well, it would be Barnes, but he's not going to play today, according to the Leicester in the know from Twitter. Basically, he's Sam. He's very trusted. So I would go for White. I mean, the thing is, Mateta as well. He's been benched recently because normally it'd be Barnes, then Mateta, White in that order. Right now, I'd probably go for White starting, which sounds crazy, and then you can go for maybe Mateta or Barnes first. It's crazy though. Either way, I'm not a big fan of any of them. Captain Mount, yes, I think that's a good move. Havertz or Mount captain? Havertz for me, Canal. Does Foden start? I don't believe so. Should I bring Ronaldo for Kane? I wouldn't, personally, even though I think he outscores him this week. But for a -4, for example, definitely not. Sell Rudiger to James for a -4. To be honest, I think it's worth it. Rudiger's out for the first game. On a wildcard with bench boost 36, would you prefer Foden, Watkins, Richarlison, or Son, Dennis, and Nketiah? I'd actually go for Son, Dennis, and Nketiah, mate. Although both look good, and you could argue the first one looks more balanced, but I prefer the Son one. Whom to captain, Havertz or Mount? Havertz, mate. Son out, Bruno in risky? Yes, I believe so. Everything's in. Zim, sorry. I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't. What's the chance of Salah playing 90 minutes? I personally think he'll be subbed off a little bit earlier, but there is a chance he plays the full 90. He's a bit of a machine. Werner plus Odegaard plus Cash or Havertz, Mateta, Laporte? I'd probably go for Havertz, Mateta, and Laporte, but once again, I would be very skeptical about Mateta. I'd maybe go for Nketiah instead. My team: Dubravka, Trent, Van Dijk, Alonso, Cher, Saka, Salah. Yeah, that's a good team. Son, Mount, Kane, Nketiah, bench, Sarr, Wood, Gordon, Amati. I like it. Maybe a bit concerned about, well, not even concerned. It's a good team you have. It's just in game week 36, that's my main concern with your goalkeepers, Matthew. You got Dubravka who's playing, I think it's City, if I'm not mistaken, and Jose Sarr is playing Chelsea away. So that's where you could make a goalkeeper transfer in the coming weeks, Matthew. But other than that, looks pretty good. Gordon's a good bench fodder option. He can even be a good part of a bench boost. Amati, not a big fan of him, but other than that, your starting 11 looks very good. Salah or Mount captain? I'm going for Salah at the moment, but I actually might change it to Mount, personally. Captain Salah, Ronaldo or Mount? I would captain either Salah or Mount, personally, but I could be wrong. Ronaldo, never underestimate him. That's the moral of the story. For years people rule him out, say he's finished, and then he comes up with a brace or a hat-trick. So yeah, that's my kind of viewpoint on that. Is Tierney, Rafinha and Lacazette to Alonso, Havertz and Pukki for a -4 worth it? Honestly, mate, yes, I definitely think it is, Sai. Kane to Werner? I honestly wouldn't, but it is a really, I like the idea of Werner, bringing him in, and, he could definitely do really well, but I probably wouldn't. What's the best midfield player for wildcard in the long term under 6.9 million, especially for Game Week 36? I'd say Saka. Saka and Kulusevski, yeah. Matip play or not? I believe so. And I think Konate plays in the Champions League again. Start Kulusevski or Nketiah? I would start Kulusevski out of the two. Welcome, Jody. Hi, Dylan. Should I keep Bruno this week or transfer him out for Mount or Kai and Verneron? I would get rid of Bruno for Mount if you can, yes. It's risky, but I would do it. If you want someone for the long term, then go for Mount. This week, Kai is my preference. Werner in for either Woods or Weghorst. And maybe get rid of Wood instead, just because Weghorst has better fixtures. That's pretty much it. And Weghorst should have returned in both games, really, if we're being honest. But, Weghorst is Weghorst. Thank you, everything's in. James or Alonso? I prefer James still, but Alonso is really close. Son, Rafinha, Roberts out for Havertz, Mount, Alonso, James for a -8. I like it, Rafael. I think you always talk about these hits, and I like them, to be honest. They're really good transfers. So, yeah, I think it's good. Son or KDB for the long term? I already have Kane. For the long term, Son, in my opinion, but KDB is also a really good pick as well. Who to start? Barnes versus Ramsey and Ramsdale versus Foster. I mean, I'd still say Barnes, but he isn't playing today, or at least he's not starting. So, you know, maybe you could just go for Ramsey. Ramsdale or Foster. I'd actually go for Ramsdale. How's Jorginho as a pick from Chelsea? Really outside, you know, left field. I'm not sure if I would go for... I'm not sure. That's pretty much the way I see it. I'm not too sure about that. I personally would still rather go for James, Mount, Havertz, you know, all these options, Werner. Jorginho would be, you know, the option after that. Do Chelsea blank in 37? They don't blank, but they don't have a double anymore because obviously it went into 34. They have one game in 37. Best 7.2 million midfielders. Kind of the same thing really. Saka and Kulusevski. Madison, Son, Salah, Mount, Saka, good enough. Who to captain? Yeah, definitely good enough. Madison starting today as well. Who to captain? Salah or Mount? Yeah. Start 2 of Barnes, Weghorst, Ramsey, Breuer. I would start Weghorst maybe, and I don't know, it's really tough. Barnes isn't starting, so you could just go for one of the others, but I'm not a big fan. Yeah, but Michael, Ronaldo's been training in recent days, and I think he'll still play. That's the way I see it. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, he literally was in training on the day after Liverpool. Thanks, Dylan. Thank you very much. Hopefully I don't pronounce your name wrong. Suryansh, thank you very much, and it means a lot. Thank you very much. Rudiger to who? I'd say Reece James if you're looking for a like-for-like replacement. Thank you, Marius, for the super chat. Mings, Nketiah, Mateta, Dewsbury Hall. Start 1, bench 3. I'd actually start Nketiah. I'm not saying he's suddenly going to be an amazing option, but out of those lot, I think he's the most likely to get some points. Madison and Tierney to James and Mount for a -4. Good question. If that's your only way to get Mount, then yes, I would do it. But bear in mind, Madison starts today. Sell Saka or Iheanacho or Madison or Kulusevski for Mount and Havertz. I would sell Madison and Iheanacho. Yeah. If I had to pick one, it's Iheanacho. Tomiyasu or single Gameweek Palace defender versus Watford for the bench boost 36. Tomiyasu, I would say. But he is very injury prone, so bear that in mind. Martinelli, Kane to Laporte, Son, Pukki, Manasseh. I think I already answered that question, Krishna. Like I said, I like the transfers. I'm just not as sure about getting rid of Kane. Mount and Pukki for -4 in place of Rafinha and Tony. Yes, I think that's fine. Just obviously getting rid of Tony. I still like him a lot. But if that's your only way to get Pukki, then fair enough. Just reconsider. Maybe keep Tony and get rid of another striker like Mateta or any of these strikers that are pretty useless like Breuer. What Leicester defenders do you like? Honestly, none. That is literally my assessment. I hate to be that guy. Maybe Justin if I had to pick one. But it's just not... I don't know. I don't trust Leicester defensively and too much rotation at the back. Captain Salah, Alonso or James? I'd be very tempted by Alonso and James actually. But I don't know. I think I'd still go for Salah of the lot. But do not discount those fullbacks. I like that a lot. When the season finished, will you keep making videos? Thank you, Sam. It means a lot. And I'd actually still like to make videos. Yes, there will probably be some FPL content throughout the summer. Last year, I wasn't able to much. I was very busy throughout last summer. But I think, as things stand, I think there could be some videos every now and again. Maybe some different ones as well, season reviews, stuff like that. Looking at past FPL seasons. Different ideas. I encourage all of your feedback in the comments and stuff. So yeah, I'd definitely like to do that. Last year we also had Euro Fantasy Football. That kind of filled the gap. But obviously because the World Cup is now in November, we've got a long break now in the summer. So yeah, I think there should still be content. I'll even make some different types of videos like gaming or stuff. So if people want to see me rage or stuff, because normally I'm quite calm, I'd say, in these streams, then yeah, you're going to see a different, different side, you could say. I'm not Two-Face. Madison and Tierney to Mount and James. Yes, I think so once again. Sell Kulusevski or Madison for Havertz. I'd rather sell Madison because of the rotation. How do you know Madison starts? I'll get the tweet up basically, but it's a really reliable in the know from Leicester. So let me just get this up. Let me get this tweet up. Sam Martin. So if you've ever heard of him, you probably heard great things. He knows his stuff when it comes to Leicester. So let me get this tweet up. So we're on his profile. Where is it? Yeah, here. So 10 hours ago he said Madison starts tomorrow, Barnes does not. So that's pretty much it. That's all we need to know really. So yeah, it's quite rare for someone to have that information pretty much the day before. But, you know, you're not going to say no to that, are you? So, yeah, that's pretty much why I've been saying that all day. Start Salah or Ramsdale. I'm going for Salah myself, Black Shan, so I'd go for that. Drop Kane for Werner. Not for me, personally. Timothy says, Son, Salah, Havertz, Mount and Foden. How's the midfield? It's really good. And should I captain Salah or one of the Chelsea players? I'd go for Havertz. It sounds really crazy. Maybe I'm doing mental gymnastics in my head, but I would rather go for Havertz than Mount this week. But long term, I prefer Mount, and that's why I went for him. But for this week specifically, I would captain Havertz. I did a minor say, what do you think? Rudiger, Madison, say Maximan for Dennis, James and Mount. Long term, I like those moves, especially James and Mount. Dennis makes sense in the long term, so yeah, I like that a lot. Sell Saka or Iheanacho or Madison or Kulusevski for Mount and Havertz. Yeah, Iheanacho, Anthony. Iheanacho. Start 2, White, Ramsey, Broyo, Weghorst. I'd probably start White and Weghorst. Madison to Mount or Havertz, or getting Reece James 2 for a hit. Who would you get rid of, though, for Reece James? That is what would ultimately, you know, determine whether you should take a hit or not, in my opinion. But I would rather go for Mason Mount, because long-term I think he's a better option than Havertz. Thank you very much, Sam. I don't agree, but thank you very much. Will Chalobah start? Also, you pronounced my name perfectly. Wow, thank you very much. And yeah, I just hate mispronouncing names. Chalobah start? Maybe one of the 2 games. I don't think he'll start both, personally. -4 for Doherty and Jimenez to Alonso and Pukki, or just roll. I'd take a -4, mate. I'd do it, Craig, yeah. Obviously, Jimenez against Burnley, you never know. He could get a return, but I think Pukki's a great transfer. Which Man United midfielder would you prefer apart from Bruno, based on current form? Probably Elanga or Sancho. That's pretty much the only 2 I would consider. Start Barnes or Lamptey? I'd actually start Lamptey. Yeah, because Barnes is being benched today, as you can see on screen. Let me get my team back up, and thank you for the super chat. I'm going to read out now in a second. Then we're going to probably take another break, because my voice is actually gone already. Thank you, Hesir, for the super chat. So you put your team up: Schmeichel, Foster, Cancelo, Laporte, Trent, Alonso, Emerson, Salah, Sterling, Coutinho, Mount, Havertz, Pukki, Gelhardt, Pedro. 4-5-1. Wildcard team, no chips remaining. Any advice? Thanks for the stream. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the super chat, mate. It means a lot. You have no chips left, so yes, I agree with your picks, actually, because, for example, Coutinho, I didn't have in my best wildcard team, but if you have no chips left, this is a good way of tackling 36 and 37, and Villa have good fixtures from 35 onwards, so honestly, I like that move. Emerson's one of the best, around 4.5 million. I like the defence a lot. You're targeting this week specifically with the likes of Alonso. You've got Mount and Havertz. That's my ideal triple up in Chelsea, other than maybe James for Alonso, but obviously budget reasons. Is there anything else I would possibly change? I don't know what your money is, but if you can, I would maybe consider Nketiah for one of Joao Pedro or Gelhardt. Maybe Gelhardt would be my preference, but then again, you don't necessarily need that transfer. Schmeichel, Foster's fine. I like that team a lot, mate. The only thing is Sterling might be a really short-term punt. You can always move him on to Heung-min Son, and that gives you enough money to upgrade Gelhardt or Joao Pedro, or maybe one of your other players like your second goalkeeper. So yeah, for example, in Game Week 35 when Schmeichel plays Tottenham, you could then maybe have a second goalkeeper that has a good fixture, basically. So that's the only kind of suggestions I'd make for your team. So yeah, Son can become Sterling in a few weeks, or Sterling can become Son, should I say, in a few weeks' time. But yeah, that's a really good team, mate. Thank you very much for the super chat. If you've got any more questions, let me know. Thank you, WT. Cancelo or Mount transfer in? If I had to choose one, it'd be Mount for sure, based on timing, despite the fact that Cancelo could really go big against Watford. I don't mind a -8 for both, but it depends once again on who you get rid of for these players, and that will also play a part, because if it's Saka out for Mount compared to Doherty out for Cancelo, then the Doherty to Cancelo moves looks better, if you catch my drift. Starting Nketiah or Mateta, I'd actually go for Nketiah just because I'm a bit concerned about Mateta's minutes. Now, if Mateta starts, then yeah, it wouldn't be ideal, and he might even outscore Nketiah in that case. Play Cher or Broja and captain Salah or Mount. I would play Cher and I would captain... Honestly, I'm 50-50 on it. I might even change my mind, but right now I'm going for Salah. I might change my mind though, so I don't want to mislead people. I'm not, going to say, oh, captain, Salah, and then I go for Mount, because I'm literally 50-50 on it. I'm more convinced about the other dilemma you posed to me though. So yeah, thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the comments, actually. The live chat's been very busy today. If you haven't already, here you go. You know what to do. You know what to do. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. That's something we want to aim for next season. But even 11,000 subscribers by the end of this season would be much appreciated. And we've got a month left. Yeah, we can do it, definitely. If not, there's always next season. And we've got the summer as well for FPL content and UCL Fantasy. There's going to be more UCL Fantasy content. If you haven't already, check out my team selection and the best Wildcard Unlimited team video. On the Tuesday, there's going to be another deadline stream. So there's no breaks. And also tomorrow, probably, there's going to be a reaction stream for FPL. So, yeah, pretty much content every single day. It's been crazy, but it's been a lot of fun as well, talking to all of you. Kane out, -8, triple Chelsea. Honestly, I wouldn't. I keep Kane and just keep 2 Chelsea, personally. Kulusevski plus Salah versus Jota Son on a wild card. I'd go for Kulusevski and Salah, Neil. I think that's the best duo. Start De Gea or Jose Sarr? Oh, yeah. I'd probably go for De Gea. Just about. I'm free hitting in 37. So am I, Matthew. And thank you very much for tuning in. Let's see, how far behind are we? So yeah, I'm going to try to take a quick break because I'm trying to, recharge the batteries, as they say. And then I can go through all the questions as we have been doing. But yeah, this chat has been absolutely insane today. And how many people do we have in the chat right now? Yeah, just under 200. So thank you very much. Let's try to get to 150 likes. That'd be much appreciated. We can definitely do that as well. So just a quick break. We've gone through a lot of questions already. And we'll be back very shortly. So we'll bring up the FPL Statistics, actually. So yeah, this is the price rises section. We'll refresh the page just a little bit. But as you can see, Mount is probably going to go up in price by the end of tonight. And the same goes for a few other players like Havertz and Eddie Nketiah. All right, we're back. And just a quick look at the players going down. Lacazette, Rudiger, Saka, Aaron Lennon, Che Adams, who I got rid of, actually. Oh, yeah, and Harry Kane went down in price overnight. So some interesting price changes, to say the least. But we're going to go back to our team now again. And no changes are going to be made. Just for those of you that are new to the stream, welcome. I made 2 transfers this week. I got Mason Mount in for Rafinha and Timo Pukki for Che Adams. I've benched Weghorst, Broja. Doherty still in my team. He's out for the season. He could become Cancelo in either Gameweek 35 or 36, but I would also need to downgrade someone like Weghorst to a Gelhardt, basically. So that's my team. I think I'm going to stick with this. Mason Mount Salah is the only change, I think. Jose Sarr over Ramsdale, I think I'm quite committed to that. And also, like I said before, whenever I bench Ramsdale, he tends to get points, so I'd be very happy with that, to be honest, because I'd rather Ramsdale, gets the clean sheet than, does nothing and he's in my starting 11. Best goalkeeper for the game week. Best goalkeeper, probably De Gea, Jose Sarr, Mendy. Probably Mendy is the best goalkeeper, really, but yeah, you probably would have a triple up in the outfield positions, really. Salah or Werner captain. I'd be tempted by Werner, but I think I'd still go for Salah there. Force on Zaha. I think he's the best Palace asset at the moment. I don't think you need him, though. You've got so many midfielders to choose from, but he is a good choice for sure. Yeah, Doherty to Alonso from -4. Definitely I'd go for it. Will Gundogan start against Watford? Very tough question. I think he will, but if he doesn't, you'll be sure that he's going to start against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Captain Ronaldo or Mount? I'd go for Mason Mount. Thank you very, very much, by the way. Nice haircut. Thank you. I had it 2 days ago. I just thank my barber, as J. Jonah Jameson says. I don't know why I said that. James or Salah? For the captaincy, I'd probably go for Salah, but I'd be very tempted by James as well. I think I answered that question already, Aditya. I'd go for White and Weghorst. Sarr Ramsdale, I'd go for Sarr. Captain Mount or Havertz. Sell Saka or Kulusevski for Madison. I'd sell Madison just for rotation risk in the long term. Son, Martinelli, Weghorst for Mount, Havertz and Nketiah. Yeah, I like those transfers, Ali. Yeah. Doherty, Kane, Bowen out, James, Mount, Werner in. I don't like the Kane to Werner transfer too much, but I like the other moves, Brandon, yes. If you need that Kane to Werner move to fund the others, then I'd go ahead with it. Kulusevski, Sace and Mount, Lacazette to Mount, Cancelo and Nketiah for -8. I like the transfers, to be fair. I like them. I don't think Lacazette starts today. Sace will probably start. Kilman's out for Wolves, so that obviously opens the doors for the Moroccan. Kulusevski I actually still like, though. That's the thing. But I like Mount, Cancelo and Nketiah, so yes, it's worth it. Who do I get for Adams? Werner? Yes, either Werner or Timo Pukki. Start one, Breuer, Barnes or Weghorst. I'd probably go for Weghorst because Barnes isn't starting today. Otherwise, it would have been him. Hey Dylan, how are we feeling on the second coming on the Alonso hype train? Yeah. Look, I would love to have Alonso or Kai Havertz as well, but you know, I'm quite happy to have 2 Chelsea players. But yes, of course, I think there's a good reason to, you know, back the Spaniard. I think he's got a good chance of a big return this week. Sterling or Jota? This game week, I'd rather go for Sterling. Long-term Jota. Start Saka or Kulusevski? I would go for Kulusevski if I had to pick one, but I think they're both good options in their own right. Captain Sterling or Havertz? I would captain Havertz. Should I get Mount for a -8 or just captain James? Who would you get rid of though for Mason Mount? But yes, I think a -8 is worth it. Keep Son and Kane or sell one for Trent. If you have no Liverpool defensive coverage, I think it's definitely worth it. Then in that case, I'd maybe sell Kane potentially, and then you can go to a cheap striker like Pukki, and then you have a lot of money to improve your squad, especially if you are using your bench boost. Like Havertz more than Mount, but how would you be concerned with pairing him with Alonso and Werner, who are more risky in terms of game time? Is it worth... yeah, I get your point, yeah. So you'd rather go for someone more stable or consistent like Mount and then go for the kind of more upside pick in Werner. I don't think there's a problem, though, having Havertz and Timo Werner, to be fair. If you like Havertz more than Mount, go for Havertz. That's pretty much the thing I'd say. But I get your logic, and I've thought like that before. Salah captain, at the moment, yes, but I might change things. Should I bench Cornet or Ramsey? I think I'd bench Ramsey. Salah, Mount, Havertz, who to captain and who to vice captain? I would captain Havertz and vice captain any of the other two, really. It doesn't really matter. Why have you transferred in Pukki and not started Breuer instead? Because he's just been awful, you know, for a long time. I'll go for his points now. I like Pukki. There's a few reasons why. I'll talk about Pukki shortly, but let's go through Breuer's points. So I think I've got him in on the wildcard again on 26, and look, his last return was in game week 24 against Tottenham. That is incredible. Jesus, this is blanks galore. He had a little period around game week 17, you know, 224, where he looked decent, but you know, 6 goals and 2 assists. Obviously, it's not bad for a striker around his price, but he's just not been good enough. As for Timo Pukki, I think he's got 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 games. And the thing I like a lot, apart from the fact that Newcastle could rotate a lot, according to Eddie Howe, this week, which obviously opens the doors for Pukki and a nice return, Pukki also doubles in 36. None of my other strikers did. So I just think there's too many reasons why. And I also saved $1 million by going from Che Adams, who was being benched recently, to Timo Pukki, who's in form. I think it's a no-brainer for me, to be honest. I actually don't regret the decision. It might not pay off, but yeah, I prefer Pukki over Breuer, basically. Salah Ramsdale, I'll go for Jose Same. Kai and Ziyech start. I think Kai Havertz, yes. I'm not sure about Ziyech. Will Mount be benched? Maybe in one game, potentially, but I still like him long-term. Captain Mount or Werner, I'd go for Mount, personally. Thank you, El Wordy. Thank you very much. Weghorst to Pukki and Nketiah. Pukki's still my preference, but Nketiah is definitely one to keep an eye on. Yes, I'd go for Havertz, Ada. Captain Ronaldo, good record against Arsenal. Chelsea defence not great at the moment. Yeah, no, I think if I had him, I would consider him for the captaincy, but I wouldn't bring Ronaldo in. And to be honest, I think if Arsenal can defend well, Tomiyasu could be back for this game. You know, he's been in training. That could help Arsenal a lot defensively. And, you know, Arsenal could keep a clean sheet against United. They've done it a lot in recent seasons. It's just recently Arsenal have been awful defensively. That's my problem with them. Rafinha to Mount, yes, I've done the same thing, Genius. I think it's a good transfer. Captain Sterling or Werner, I'd go for Werner. Gaeta or Sanchez, long-term Gaeta. Barnes replacements, if I'm short of funds, I'm free hitting in 37, otherwise would have gone for Gallagher. I don't think Gallagher's really worth it anyway. I think Kulusevski or Saka, mate. Pope or Ramsdale, I think I would go for Pope this week. Mount and Alonso or Havertz and Alonso. Look, if you're looking long-term, mate, I would go for Mount and Alonso. So, yeah. When do you plan on using the free hit? Game week 37, and that's my only chip remaining. Last time Alonso had this much of a hype, Chilwell started the next game. At least this cannot happen unless Tuchel plays Saul. Yeah, imagine that. That would be absolutely crazy. But, yeah, that's why Alonso's more appealing now, more than ever. I had Alonso early in the season, and I think he barely got me any returns. He's a bit of a frustrating player for me. Captain KDB or Salah? I'd be very tempted by KDB, actually. Oof. I'd actually go for Kevin De Bruyne. Barnes out Mountain? Yes, I'd go for it. Two free transfers. Should I go Ramsey to Son, Kane to Nketiah, and Broja to Pukki for a -4? Or should I target Chelsea players, Havertz, Mount for Ramsey, Kane, and Nketiah? I would go for a Chelsea player. So Havertz or Mount, I'd rather go for Mount, deadly. And I'd do, yeah, that makes sense. I'd do that. For Ramsey and then Kane to Nketiah. Although, getting rid of Kane isn't the greatest for me. But obviously, you can't have everyone, basically. I've done a -8, Laka to Werner and Cody to Alonso opinions. I think Cody could keep a clean sheet against Burnley, but that's a fair enough thing. Laka to Werner, I like a lot, Luke. It's a really good transfer. And to be fair, you're getting Alonso. It's a good set of transfers. Good morning. Word of warning based on Klopp's word. I think he could pull off people like Robertson at half-time if they're winning comfortably. Yeah, true. Or Tsimikas could start. I wouldn't be surprised. This could be the game where they still play a strong team, but they bench Robertson for Tsimikas. They play one of Jota, Firmino, or both of them. So yeah, that's a good point, Harry. And that's why I have heavily considered Mason Mount or James for the captaincy over Salah. I've captained Werner. Good luck to you, Luke. I like that punt. It looks pretty good on paper. Will James start both games? I believe so, but you never know. James is very, very tricky in double game weeks. He's feast or famine. He can get 18 points in the first game, then miss out in the second due to injury or something else. Best Man City midfielder option, De Bruyne for me, long term. And then other than that, it's Foden. For this week specifically, it's Sterling. Sterling and De Bruyne. Sell Barnes to Mount if I already have Havertz, or sell him to Coutinho. I'll do Mount. I'd still go for Mount, Kumar. Yeah, I would rather have Mount in Game Week 36 than Coutinho. You can always free hit Coutinho in 37. Mount or Havertz captain, I'd go for Havertz. Kulusevski to Bernardo for a -4. No, not for me. -12 for Mount, Son, Pukki in, and Madison, Barnes and Kane out. Worth it? I wouldn't take a -12 if I could, especially to get rid of players like Kane and Madison, who are going to start this week. So, no, not for me. Schmeichel, Laporte and Sterling, or Edison, Robbo and Foden. I'm on Wildcard, by the way. I'd actually go for... That's really tough. I'd go for Schmeichel, Laporte and Sterling. Yeah. Ramsey for Dewsbury Hall. I wouldn't make a transfer this week one way or the other. But if obviously you've got 2 free transfers, you don't know what to do with them, then yes. Otherwise, no. Foden to Mount or roll transfer. I actually think Foden isn't going to start, so I would do it. But obviously, if Foden starts against Watford, he could go crazy. So it's a really risky transfer either way. But I would do it. Start Ramsey or Saka. Saka all day long for me. Saul, Dubravka. Pope or Ramsdale, Pope, mate. Havertz, Mount for Kulusevski for a hit. Yeah, to be fair, it's worth it. Yes. Thank you very much, Deadly. Thank you very much. Thank you, Luke. Already have 2 Chelsea players and have 2 free transfers. Thinking of bringing in Ramsey and Pukki, but not sure whether to sell Barnes or Kulusevski. I'd sell Barnes. He's not playing today, Cillian, so yeah, I'd sell Barnes. Pukki or Watkins this game? Pukki for me. So Salah or Mount? I haven't decided yet, I'll be honest. I'm still going for Salah at the moment, so I'm guessing that's the way, but honestly, I might just go for the double gaming player. I'm going to be checking Twitter as well, see if we get any bit of news, but who knows at this point. Start Ramsey or Saka? Yes, Saka, mate. Saka. No need to spam the chat. Bruno out, Sterling in. To be honest, I like it this week specifically, but long term, I'd just rather have, for example, you're looking at Son. So I don't know what your plans are with your midfield, but yeah, I think, to be honest, I probably would do it. Bruno has a double. It's crazy, but yeah. Welcome, Marco. Dewsbury Hall, Nketiah and Dennis, or Gordon, Pukki and Greenwood on the wild card. I think I'd rather go for Dewsbury Hall, Nketiah and Dennis, Marco. Rudiger to Alonso for a -4. Yes, I think it's worth it, mate. I think it's definitely worth it. Pukki or Watkins? I go for Pukki. No need to spam the chat. Is Cancelo injured? No, he's not. He's suspended in the Champions League. That's basically it. But he's not suspended. Just to make that very clear. Start Sanchez or Ramsdale? I would start Sanchez. Weghorst or Broja, Weghorst, Alisson or Dubravka, Alisson still, yeah. Sace to Laporte for a -4. Bear in mind, Sace is going to start today. Kilman's injured, but I keep Sace this week and do it next week if anything. Don't do it for a -4. Reece James or Marcus Alonso? I prefer Reece James personally. Weghorst or Gay? I would go for... I think Gay, yeah. Is there any double game weeks again? This week, yes. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that one. There's going to be more. 36 is going to be the biggest double game week of the season, and 37 has plenty of doubles as well, including the likes of Aston Villa, Leicester, and I'm forgetting one other team. Aston Villa, Leicester, and Crystal Palace, I think it is, yes. Start Willock or Saka? Saka. Dewsbury Hall or Gordon? I guess I'd say Gordon just for rotation reasons, really. Werner or Pookie? I still prefer Pookie long term just for the value and the budget. Lamptey or Gay? I'd start Lamptey. Play Brandon Williams for Rudiger? I wouldn't play Brandon Williams instead, to be honest. I'd just start Rudiger. Havertz or Alonso? I would start... Oh, Havertz or Alonso. I'm guessing it's for the captaincy. I'd go for Havertz. But I'm really interested in Alonso, just to be quite clear with you. Start Willock or Saka? Saka, mate. No need to spam the chat. Try not to put it again, please. Grealish for a 1 week punt? I just don't really think he's the best option in terms of goals and assists in that City team, so not for me. Martinelli to Son or Mount? Selling Kane, already have Havertz. Long-term Son is my preference, but for this week it has to be Mount, Krishna. Wildcard in 35 and bench piece 36 sounds good? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is allowed. What isn't allowed, Ajwani, is using free hits in back-to-back game weeks. You can't use a free hit in 36 and 37, for example, but you can use any, different chips in back-to-back game weeks, basically. Thoughts on taking a -8 to do Saka to Mount, Adams to Mateta, and Vehicles to Pookie? Or should I just take a -4 and not do the Pookie transfer? Good question. I think I would do the -4. Once again, Kobe, I'm not sure about Mateta now. He hasn't started in the last few games. I would consider Nketiah instead. Or, Kobe, Adams to Pookie. Instead, and just keep Vehicles for now. That's what I would probably do. Start Coutinho or Watkins? I'd start Coutinho. Barnes or Kulusevski to Mount? Barnes. I'd get rid of Barnes and keep Kulusevski. Start Gaeta or Sarr? I would start Jose Sarr. Bench Cher or Tarkowski? I would bench Tarkowski. And I'd start Sarr still. Cher, sorry. Matty Cash for Game Week 35-38? Yes, I think it's a good transfer. I said he's a hold this week, and next week onwards he's a buy. Martinelli and Alonso or James and Gordon? Still James and Gordon for me, but there's not much in it, to be honest. You could just go for the Martinelli and Alonso one, and it's pretty much fine. Who do I start between? Yeah, already answered that question, Kevin. Kane for Werner and Barnes for... I'm not a big fan of Verneron for Kane, but I do like the Barnes to Mount or Havertz transfer. Yeah, Barnes to Mount, Son to Kane for a -4. Son to Kane. I think just do Barnes to Mount. Yeah, you don't need to get Kane in, for example. Vehicles to Pookie worth a -4? Yes, I think it is worth it, to be fair. City not doubling in 37 made my day worse. What, it's already confirmed? Let me check that. But very crazy for them to announce it right now, by the way. Yeah, by the way, Tomiyasu is in the Arsenal squad today, which isn't surprising because he has been training recently. Yeah, wait, let me just get that question up again. Yeah, so Ditya, where did you see that, by the way? Is it actually confirmed somewhere? Because if it is, then I'll try to get it up on screen and stuff. Because obviously, to my understanding, it's either in Game Week 36 or 37. Alonso or Laporte? Long-term Laporte, but yeah, I'd say I'd rather have Alonso this week if I were to get one of them in. Let me just get rid of this absolute spammer. Don't know how the hell these lot appeared from nowhere. Alonso or Laporte? Yeah, I just answered that, didn't I? Mount for Saka or Kulusevski? I'd rather get rid of Kulusevski if you already have Son or Kane. Saka or Matip knowing I have Robertson? Saka. Foden or Jota? Jota this week. Long term, I'd argue maybe Foden, but yeah, Jota this week. Barnes to Mount? Yeah, already answered that question, mate. Barnes replacement? Saka or Kulusevski? Trying to think if there's anyone else, but yeah, I think those are the main ones. What's better, Wood out for a 4.5 million striker and James in for Livramento for a -4, or Wood out for a 4.5 million striker? I wouldn't get Mahrez in Black Lambo. I would just get James in. Mahrez, I don't think starts against Watford, and even if he does, I don't think he starts in the future game weeks. Is an Arsenal player important this week? Not necessarily. I don't think they're necessarily a must-have again, but if you have Saka, I'd start him. Should I sell Son or Kane? It depends on your transfer plans. You know, what your ideal front three is, what you want your midfield to be. I'd rather keep Son right now, actually. Madison to Mount or Havertz, or get in Reece James for a hit. I would get Reece James in 2 for a hit if you're getting rid of someone like Doherty or Tierney. Or even just a pretty poor defender. Saka or Rafinha, I'd rather keep Saka. Will Rudiger play the second game? Honestly, no idea. That isn't confirmed yet. All we know is that he's missing the first game. Sterling, Dennis in a 4.5 million bench. Attacker, transfer out, Game Week 36 bench boost. And booking transfers or Coutinho, Richarlison and Pukki. In that case, Marco, with the bench boost in mind, I would go for Coutinho, Richarlison and Pukki. Yeah, unfortunately. But I like the Sterling move this week, I'll be honest. Hi Dylan, do you know if Martinelli's going to start today? I don't know either way, but I think he won't. I think it'll be Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka and Nketiah. The only reason why there is a chance Martinelli starts is because of rotation and energy. You know, Smith Rowe, he isn't the greatest in terms of fitness, so, you know, I wouldn't say it's impossible for Martinelli to start, but I personally think, you know, if everyone arrives in good condition, I think Martinelli's on the bench. Alisson or Dubravka, I'd go for Alisson, mate. Rudiger to Alonso or Laporte. Well, in that case, let's just go for Alonso. If you're getting rid of Rudiger for a hit, you know, you'd go for Alonso for the double game week. I don't think it makes sense to go from Rudiger to Laporte for a -4 this week. Who to start, Amati or Broja? I don't like either of them. I guess I'd go for Broja. Son to Havertz, Doherty to Alonso, Dean to Cancelo for -8. Good transfers, I like them. Son is the only one that I'm a bit worried about, but the others look good. Madison or Broja? Definitely Madison, no doubt about it. Barnes to Mount, yeah. I already answered that question, mate. Neves to Mount and Jimenez to Gelhardt. Yeah, I think that's worth it. JR. Will Rudiger play the second game? Not sure. If City double, will they also have a blank? Will they have a blank? No, they're not going to have a blank. It's just they're going to have a double in either 36 or 37. There's no blanks, I think. Any news on Martinelli? Is he starting? Yeah. Yeah. I think you got the wrong live stream there. But yeah, I think I already answered your question there. Yeah, no worries, Edvin. I know some people have like multiple streams up at the same time. It's no worries. But yeah, I think I answered your question already. Hopefully you got it. Thank you, Lager, for moderating the chat. It's much appreciated. Dennis or Pukki? Pukki for sure. And how do you rate Dennis as an option? Not too highly, but considering the lack of forward options, you know, he's not the worst, basically. He's in the top 10, probably in the top 7 or 5. But Pukki, for me, is a far better option right now. Welcome, Matthew. Still have the free hit left. And my team value is 107.2 million. Yeah. I'm not sure. I didn't see your team. I'll scroll up a little bit and try to find it, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of things in the chat right now. Yeah, I can't see your message. I remember earlier you said you're going to free hit, but you didn't put your entire team, I think. And if you did, I think I did read it out, to be honest. But yeah, I'm looking to free hit in 37 as well, to be quite frank. Start and first bench between Verkost, White, Broja and Gordon. Not a big fan of any of them. I'd maybe start White, actually, and bench Verkost first. Yeah. Do you think it's worth playing Ramsey over Rudiger? I wouldn't do it, Roberto, personally. I think I'd still start Rudiger, just in case. I don't think Rudiger comes on from the bench. Hopefully I haven't jinxed it. Madison to Mount or Kulusevski to Mount? Madison to Mount. But Madison starts this week and he could do well against Villa. Thank you, Edvin. Son in for Kane for a -4. I don't think it's worth it, Sally. I don't think it's worth it. Welcome, Jeff. Thank you. And hello to you as well. Mateta for Verkost? No. Because Mateta hasn't been playing in the last few games. I'd rather get Nketiah, if anything. Or, my ideal scenario is Pukki. Start Coutinho Madison. I'd start Madison. Son to Mount or Havertz? I prefer Mount long term. It's just this week specifically, I think Havertz could be the better player. Will Havertz play both games? I believe so, because he looks the better option to go for than Mount. In recent games, yes, as we discussed in the stats section, but long term, I think Mount's the better pick. Will KDB start versus Watford? I believe so. Yeah, answered that already, JR. James or Cancelo? I don't think Chelsea's double is that good. Long term for me, it's Cancelo, for sure. Yeah, Matthew, I didn't do that, honestly. I didn't unmodify anyone. James over Alonso, are you sure? Well, I already made my bed. I bought James in Game Week 31. In terms of who do I prefer, I think Reece James will be shifted back as the right wing back, and therefore I prefer him, yeah. There's not a huge difference though. Why do you think Mount is better long-term than Matt Havertz? Because over the season, better stats, that's one reason. 10 goals and 10 assists. And also with Mason Mount, I just think he's more nailed than Havertz in the long term. I think both of them will start the vast majority of games anyway, but I also think Mount looks better in the eye test. And even in recent games where Havertz has better stats, in the XG anyway, Mount trumps him for the assists and the creativity, and also has more goal contribution. So for me personally, I'd rather go for Mason Mount. Teams you target if you're on a wild card: Liverpool, City, Chelsea. Leicester not so much now because I have one or two Leicester players, but I wouldn't go gung ho on them. Other players, I still go for one or two Spurs players as well. Other than that, I think pretty much the top 3 teams in the league. That's pretty much it. Pick 2 to start: Madison, Veltman, Coutinho. Madison and Coutinho, honestly, Jeff. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Rania. Let me just get your super chat up right now. So minus 8, Rudiger to James, Ramsey to Mount captain, and Laka to Pukki for a minus, or a -4 for just Rudiger to James and Laka to Pukki with Salah captain and no Chelsea mid. I'd go for the -8, Aranya. I think it's worth it. I'd go for the -8, and I would captain either Mount or Salah. Depends on what you want and what you prefer. But yeah, I'd go for the -8. Thank you for the super chat and for being a channel member. Thank you as always, Aranya. Ryan, I discussed this already for the captaincy. Look, I'm still in two minds about it, but Salah, there's a lot of reasons why. I think we all know the reasons why Salah's a great captaincy option. He showed it in the last week. He's the best FPL option probably of all time. He's the best player and the most consistent this season. He's playing against one of the worst teams in the league. Yes, United are awful at the moment and West Ham aren't in the greatest of form, but I still think they're tougher fixtures than Everton. So I think there's a few reasons. Captain Havertz or Mount? I'd say Havertz, but long term I prefer Mount. Share to Robertson for a -4? Not this week. I think Robertson could actually be benched this week. That's my kind of gut feeling. Thiago Silva going to play? I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I think he will. Should I captain? Yeah, once again, these captaincy questions, I go for Havertz, probably. Either of Havertz, KDB is an interesting one to be fair, but I go for Havertz from those lot. I have wildcard on. Which pair do you suggest? Son and Jota or Salah and Kulusevski? Salah and Kulusevski just because of rotation. I do like Son and Jota though. Thank you, Matthew. Likewise. Thank you very much. Ramsdale to Dubravka? No, because Dubravka faces City and Liverpool afterwards. I just don't think it's worth it. And in Game Week 36, you would then have to make another goalkeeper transfer. Not for me. Dubravka or Ramsdale for this week? Yes, Dubravka for sure. But long term, I'd still rather have Ramsdale. Cash to Target? No, I would not. No, because Target, once again, he faces City and Liverpool in the upcoming weeks. I wouldn't get rid of Cash now. If you kept him up until this point, why get rid of him? Downgrade Salah to Mane or KDB. Which Chelsea defender to put in apart from Silva? Alonso or James, Harvey. And as for downgrading Salah, not for me. Welcome. Speranskis. Would you captain Alonso over Salah? I'd be very tempted, but I'm not sure I would go ahead with it. Let me know what you're thinking. Captain James, really good shout, just like with Alonso. Why do you think James will play wing back? Because they shifted during the Arsenal game and Chelsea looked more threatening offensively when James was shifted to the right wing back position. I think he was only playing as a right centre back to build James's fitness up, basically. That's the way I see it. And also the injuries at the back to players like Rudiger. So you look at most of these centre backs for Chelsea, none of them are really, that quick. Rudiger's the paciest of the lot, in my opinion, and James kind of compensates for that lack of pace at the back. That's just a few reasons why I think James was playing, as well as also to counter, the pacey or tricky wingers, from Arsenal, from Crystal Palace, Real Madrid, etc. But yeah, I think Reece James will play as the right wing back again. Obviously, we'll wait and see. He might not, but I've already got him anyway, so I have no choice. Alan, well, I've explained it already in terms of Pukki. Why do I like him and why are people showing love? He's in great form. That's quite rare for a striker. That's 1 point. He's got 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 games, I believe. And also, he's doubles in 36. Not many, decent strikers double in 36. He's also a really good enabler. I went from Adams to Pukki. I save $1 million there. And it also allows me to do other moves that I want. So honestly, there's quite a few reasons. I wouldn't have been able to afford Mason Mount, for example, or Kai Havertz in for Rafinha without getting Timo Pukki. So there's a lot of reasons, actually, and some good fixtures. You can't ignore form as well. Best under 6 million midfielder? Not really a big fan of most of them. I'd say the enablers, as always, Gordon Ramsay and Dewsbury Hall, Martinelli. Smith Rowe could be one to consider. I don't think Martinelli starts today necessarily. I think I am missing someone though. I can't put my finger on it, so I need to maybe get back to that question, but there's not much to choose from in my opinion. Yeah, no, Richard. And I don't know why you're spamming the chat, but no. Like I said before, I wouldn't get targeting. It's up to you, though. Who to bench? Pookie, Mateta, and Share. I would actually bench Mateta, Hazik. Is Barnes being benched legit? Yes. It was reported by Sam Martin. Let me just deal with the spammer, by the way. Yeah, there's no need for it. Start Mateta or Saka? I'd start Saka. Start Region or Cash and Richarlison or Broja. I would start... That's a good question. I would start Region and Richarlison. Coutinho, Kulusevski. For this week, Kulusevski. Yeah. What to do with Rudiger? Change to Alonso? Yeah, I think I would, Mal. If not, Reece James. Again, Aspie, Alonso for Rudiger? Yes. I'd go for Alonso, though. Abhinav. Sanchez or Ramsdale in goal? This week, Sanchez. Long-term Ramsdale. Thank you, Lager. Have a good week as well. Jacob Ramsey and Kane or Son and Watkins? Son and Watkins. Starting Nketiah or Pookie? Pookie. Alisson or Dubravka? Alisson, I think you asked this already, mate. Hopefully you got it this time. Should I get in Kasper Schmeichel for Alisson and Alonso for Ben White for a -4 hit? Yes. Wait. Only take the -4 if you need to get Schmeichel in to fund the other move. Otherwise, just do Ben White to Alonso for a free transfer. Adams or Weghorst for this match? Weghorst. Although Adams could play and then he might do something. You never know. Thank you for the super chat, Aranya, once again. Should I start Barnes or Broja? Well, Barnes isn't starting today, Aranya, apparently, according to Sam Martin, who is in the know for Leicester. The thing is, he could come off the bench, but obviously that limits his chances greatly. So I guess I'd maybe go for Broja. Let me know what you think, but yeah, could come off the bench, but it's not ideal, basically. Thank you very much for the super chat. Captain De Bruyne, Vice Captain Salah or Mount? It doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm going for Salah over Mount at the moment in terms of the captaincy. It doesn't really matter, ultimately, because KDB should start, but obviously it's important to nail down the vice captaincy as well. I'm currently going for Salah, so yeah, it's really tough. You know, I might still change it. You know, I'm still dithering a little bit. Sell Martinelli this week or start him for this week? Who would you sell him for, though? But yes, I think I'd sell him. Mount is better than Havertz. Long term, I personally think so, yes. But that's just kind of my opinion on it. I might be wrong. Opinion, Doherty, Fred and Rudiger out for James Matip and Bruno Guimaraes. I wouldn't get Bruno in right now because he faces Liverpool and City next. But then again, he's just a bench fodder option in those weeks, to be fair. And he's an upgrade on Fred, to be fair. I do like the James and Matip moves, especially James. So yes, I like the -8 overall, but just bear in mind, Newcastle have poor fixtures now. Let's see. Foster to Dubravka, Madison to Mount, Adams to either Pookie or Mateta. Pookie for sure, for me. Yes, those transfers all look good, but Foster to Dubravka, I'm not sure about it. Dubravka faces City and Liverpool in the weeks afterwards, so it's not really ideal. Yeah, 10 minutes left for the deadline. Yep, exactly. We're going to try log this in. KDB or Sterling in? I'd go for KDB just because long-term I think he's better. Havertz or Mount? This week Havertz, long-term Mount. Is it worth bringing in Mount for Madison? Yes, it is. Rafinha or Kulusevski for my team for the rest of the season? Kulusevski. Will Nketiah start? I believe so. James or Alonso? James for me. Saka or Coutinho or Madison? Long-term I still think Saka. For this week specifically, I'd say Madison. Bench one, Watkins, Coutinho, Madison. I would bench Watkins. Start Ramsdale or Forster this week. I would start Ramsdale, actually. Start Ramsdale or Kasper Schmeichel. I would actually start Ramsdale. Captain Mount or Pookie. Or Pundy. I'd probably say Mount in that case. Thank you for the super chat, Rania, again. Get James or Alonso in for Rudiger long term. I'd say James. But I do like Alonso a lot. Let me make that very clear. But I do prefer James long term. I think he's a bit maybe of a better long term option potentially. Thank you, Kieran. Much appreciated. Start one and order the bench. Broja, Mateta, Ramsey. I would start. I'd start Mateta just in case, but I'm not sure if he starts. And then I'd bench Ramsey. I'd bench Broja first. Pookie or Wood? I would go for Pookie. For sure. Start Tony or Weghorst? I'd still start Tony, despite the fact they're facing Tottenham. Which might seem a bit crazy to be fair, but that's just the way I see it, I guess, yeah. Let me just check, by the way. I'm checking Twitter just to see anything. You know, we might get a bit of news or something. Yeah, I don't see anything on Twitter. Yeah, okay, so nothing on Twitter. If you see anything, let me know. Sorry about that. Thank you, Jeff. Same, likewise to you. Hopefully you have a really good week as well. -4 Madison to Mount. I'd actually do it, yeah. I already did the Barnes, Saka, and Kulusevski to Mount, Havertz and KDB for Dewsbury Hall for a -4 before the Rudiger news. What should I do? Rudiger to Laporte for a -8 to bench Broja. I'm not sure about that. I'd maybe get Laporte in from next week onwards, but obviously I get why you're doing it. I'd probably just stick with the hits you've done already, mate. Coopsy Coop. Ronaldo for a -8. For who though? If it's for Kane, definitely not. And I'm not too sure if I take a hit for a United player. I'm 0.1 million off to get Havertz and Alonso, but I will get Pookie with an extra transfer. What about Mount though? You could get Mount instead of Havertz. But yeah, Pookie does look good. I like him, in my opinion. Captain Ronaldo, Havertz or Mount? I'd go for Havertz. There might be a late captaincy switch, by the way. I'm going to check Twitter one more time, see if there's any news, but I think I'm going to go for Mason Mount at captain. Let me know what you guys think. When I put the poll out, most of you said you're going to be captaining Salah, which is understandable. I think I might go for Mason Mount, to be honest. Yeah, I don't see anything on Twitter, apart from Tomiyasu being in the not in starting 11, sorry, in the squad for Arsenal. Salah, Havertz captain, I'd go for Havertz, and therefore, you know, with the difference not being too huge between Havertz and Mount, you would argue I should captain Mount. I think I'm going to make a late switch, actually. Oh my god, this could really come back to burn me. It's just, the reason why I'm thinking of switching it, and look, I already outlined the reasons for Salah. You know, he's facing one of the worst teams in the league, he's in great form, or at least he had a really good game against United. Liverpool are on another level at the moment. I think they will beat Everton comfortably. But Mason Mount should start both games. I think he will. He's also facing United, who are in awful form. West Ham on the greyest. Mount, I think, got 13 points in the reverse fixture when West Ham were looking pretty decent. And yeah, I think that's the key difference. I think Mount will start both games. I think Salah might come off a little bit earlier, you know, around the 70th minute mark, maybe even 60th, as he has done in recent weeks, potentially. So I think I'm going to captain Mason Mount. Let me know what you guys think. I've seen a lot of you obviously question why I was captaining Salah anyway, but I think it's quite tight still. Start Martinelli or Burnley's Roberts? Obviously, he did score, didn't he, Roberts? I think I'd start Roberts, to be fair, because I don't think Martinelli starts. Oh, no. I just saw let's see. The scenes when Nathaniel Klein outscores Alonso this week. Imagine. Why do you go Mount over Havertz? Because I think he's a better option long term. It's as simple as that. I outlined the reasons earlier, and it's pretty much that. I think Mount is also more consistent over the course of the season, and he's got more goal contributions even than the last, I think, 7 game weeks, despite having, obviously, I'd say inferior XG stats, but the XA is much better. Out Verkos for Pookie and Madison for Mount -4. Yes, definitely a good option, Chant. Definitely. Thank you, Cyril. Ciao to you as well, and have a great weekend as well. Enjoy the football. -4 sold. Ben White and Verkos bought Alonso and Pookie. I like those transfers. I have Broja and Wood as well. Solid teammate, and Pookie's a great transfer, in my opinion. Same with Alonso. Wolves or Leicester keeper for this game week? I would go for the Wolves goalkeeper, Jose Sarr. Triple captain Mount? Well, if you still have it, you don't have many more opportunities left. I think it's a good option, yeah? Thank you, Coopsy Coop, likewise. And hopefully everyone here has a great game week. Straight swap Kulusevski to Mount, or sell Bruno and Doherty for Havertz and Cancelo. Yes, I would do Havertz and Cancelo in for Bruno and Doherty. Sihab, yeah. Havertz or Kulusevski? Havertz, yeah. For now, I'd say Havertz. 5.9 million player. Which position though? If it's up front, it's Pookie for sure. Should I take a -8? Well, he might have gone up to 6 actually. Should I take a -8 to do Kulusevski and Verkos to Mount and a 4.5 million striker? Also captain Verneron or KDB? I would maybe take the -8 Mohamed, yes. And who would I captain? Maybe Werner, actually. But KDB is, you know, it's hard to go against him, isn't it, when he's facing Watford. I'm captaining Havertz. Good luck. And I probably would do the same thing. Yeah. Verkos or Broja? Verkos just about. I'm not a big fan. Thank you, Lager, for moderating the chat. Best City attacking asset? For me, it's De Bruyne. For this week specifically, I think it's Sterling, then De Bruyne. But long term, De Bruyne is always up there. So for me, it's him, then probably Foden long term. But I don't know if Foden starts this week. Therefore, overall, De Bruyne is the best. Verkos to Pookie, a good move, or roll the transfer? It depends. So if you already have a strong 11 and you're not sure who to bench, just roll the transfer. Otherwise, if you have someone you're not too sure about, then do the transfer this week. James or Alonso or any other defender? For me, James, then Alonso, and then it'd be Thiago Silva, with Rudiger being out for the first game. Should I go Rudiger to Alonso for a -4? I really don't want to if he's only out for 1 week. Yeah, I get what you mean, but I think Alonso could go big even in the first game. It depends though. If you've already taken hits, I'd probably just keep Rudiger in this case, but 1 -4 isn't really too bad. Is it risky going without any any Arsenal Spurs players on a wild card? It is, but you can't have everyone, basically. So I would have one of Kulusevski, Son or Kane, and I would have Saka if possible, but you don't need them, basically. Start Verkos to Broja. Once again, I go for Verkos. No need to spam the question, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lager. Yeah, there's no need to spam the chat, otherwise your question doesn't get read out anyway. Nketiah into plan for a Double Gameweek 36? Yes, especially if you're looking to bench boost. Yep, I definitely think so. Now, Nketiah might not start every single game until the end of the season, but he should start today. And if he performs well again, there's no reason why he should be dropped. Already have Trent. Do I bench Van Dijk or Elanga? I'd probably just bench Van Dijk just because of the double, really. Rafinha, Kulusevski. Still Kulusevski for me. Start Verkos to Watkins. I'd actually go for Watkins there. Flip coin on Mount, Havertz or Salah. Wait, you want me to flip a coin? I need to probably find a coin somewhere. I think I've got one nearby. I could do that. But then 3 players, how do we do that, basically? We have to basically do multiple flips. But yeah, I personally would prefer Havertz out of those 3. Ramsdale, Sanchez, Ramsdale for me. Start Mateta, Kulusevski for sure. Force Ronaldo, Mateta forward for this game week. I like Ronaldo for this game week anyway. Mateta not so much because he's been benched recently. Schmeichel's a good option. I mean, the goalkeepers are pretty poor. He's the best of the bad bunch, I'd say, yeah. De Bruyne or Mount for captain? I'd go for Mason Mount, but I do like De Bruyne a lot as well. Is this a good wildcard, says Jack? Yes, it is, but I would go for Nketiah over Mateta, potentially. And what else? Is there anything else I would change? The rest is fine, really. I would go for a different striker than Mateta, though, with, the benchings recently. Best cheap 5th defender playing? Maybe Emerson Royale. He doubles in 46. Imagine those 46 game weeks. He doubles in 36. He's got good fixtures before and after. I'd probably say Emerson. Start Cody or Cher? I would go for Fabian Cher, but both of them are good this week. Jota or Madison? This week, I'd actually say Jota. Yeah. Should I captain Salah, Mount, KDB or Havertz? I'd go for Havertz once again. Chilwell back in training by himself puts me off Alonso. Oh yes, there's always these rumours about him, isn't it? Triple captain for Mount. Yeah, I already answered that question, mate. There's no need to spam the chat. Come on. But yes, I'd probably consider it. Yeah. If not, there is maybe a City play in 37 if they double. But yeah, try not to spam the chat, please. Any big info? Madison is starting today. Barnes is on the bench. And Tomiyasu's in the squad for Arsenal. That's pretty much the big news that we have. Start Pukki or Kulusevski. I'd go for Pukki, but I wouldn't want to bench Kulusevski. Start Greenwood or Sunday. I don't know. I keep hearing Sunday, but I'm just kind of confused about that. But yeah, not really a big fan of either of them. My midfield: Zaha, Salah, Mount, Havertz, and Gordon. Yeah, that's fine. And you can always bench Gordon and bench boost him in 36 if you still have it. Can I play my bench boost in 38 and 3 and 36? You can, but I just don't really see the upside because in 38 there could be more rotation, so you might not even have 13 or 14 players, who actually play or feature in 38, unless you have, you're stacked on teams that still have something to play for. I would bench boost in 36 and free hit in 38 if anything. Captain Mount, I think so. Yeah, we're locked in, so I didn't even have a chance to reconsider. Yeah, I Captain Mount, unless, did I not save it? Yeah, no, my team's been saved. Yeah, so that's it, we're locked in, and we've gone for a lot of questions today. Thank you very much to everyone. I've Captain Mount in the end, I was very close on it, but I think Mount will start both games, and therefore I've gone for the double game week. I captained Salah last week, I'm happy to keep him, but I think I'll just, I'm not even sure Mount outscores him, to be honest. That's how good Salah is, and that's how good the fixture is for Salah. But I think I will just... I have no choice now. The deadline's gone. Bench order: Ramsey, Nketiah, João Pedro. Nketiah first, João Pedro second, Ramsey third, if I'm not mistaken. Start Schmeichel or Ramsdale. I'd go for Ramsdale still. I need to climb ranks. I've gone with no Spurs or Arsenal. Good luck, Freddie. And to be honest, hopefully the Spurs assets keep on blanking, so that doesn't affect you. But hopefully Arsenal... I mean, to be honest, I don't even care who scores or assists really for Arsenal, but yeah, kind of a bit of bias there. Yeah, but yeah, good luck to you as well, Freddie. Good luck. Is this a good wildcard? I already answered your question, Jack. I think it is a good wildcard. I just suggested Mateta out for Nketiah, potentially. Bench one of Watkins and Ketia Pukki. Watkins benched. Good luck to you as well. Everything's in. Yep, deadline has passed. Time's up. Thank you, James. Start Pope or Newcastle's goalkeeper. Newcastle's goalkeeper. Good luck to you as well, James. Good luck, Oliver. Good luck, Chelsea Blues, and good luck to everyone here, FPL wise, and also with your teams, as in your clubs. Best of luck all. Time's up. Good luck, Jay. Obviously, Man United Arsenal later on. That should be good. Yeah, Dylan saying Game Week 46 indicates Tottenham getting relegated to Champions League next season. Nah, there's no chance of that. As much as I'd love it. Good luck, Salah. Good luck, Lager. Good luck, Xbox player. Do you like my wildcard changes? Cancelo, Mitchell, Alonso, Mount, and Dobbin for Robertson, Doherty, Rudiger, King, and Ramsey. If you're not bench boosting in 36, I really like it. You know, Dobbin can be your pure bench fodder option. Goldhead, I like the other moves a lot. You know, Mitchell's a good one as well. Mitchell and Anderson from Palace. I was going to do Son to Foden to keep Robertson on my wildcard, but didn't do it. Nah, fair enough, and Son's a great option anyway. Yeah, that's good. Good luck to you as well, Lendo. Thank you, Flying Dutchman, for tuning in as always. Gone with KDB in case he doubles in 36. Captaincy on Salah. Last minute change from Havertz. Yeah, I don't know. Someone mentioned earlier that, I think it was Ditya, that City aren't doubling in 37. I just haven't seen any of the news really, so maybe I'm behind. Do you think we can beat United? Look, Arsenal can definitely beat United. Even against Chelsea, Arsenal could beat Chelsea. My problem is, you know, I just didn't see enough from Arsenal. You know, losing to Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. You know, it just looked like Arteta can't adapt. He found something that could work against Chelsea, but let's wait and see. A lot of people actually think Arsenal are going to beat United today. I think it's not that simple. I think Ronaldo is going to start and he's going to cause problems. But yes, Arsenal can beat United. It just depends on which Arsenal and which United turn up. I use the -12 because I can't risk the price rise, 0 in the bank. Fair enough, and good luck to you, mate. And the -12 could pay off in the long term. Cheers, Raj. Saka bench, says Joseph, imagine. Hearing Saka benched a lot. Wow, that'd be crazy. Maybe he's got a little knock or something. He plays every single game. I'll try see if I find anything about that though. Not ideal because I don't want Vehicle Sobrero coming anywhere near my team. Imagine that ages horribly. Let's hope Havertz will be king of the game week. I hope not, but good luck to you, mate. I think Havertz will be one of the best performers this week. I was just about to captain James but decided to keep Salah. Worried that I will regret it now. You know, these 50-50 decisions this season have been incredible. You know, such great variance. Maybe my decision to go off Salah to Mount in the last few minutes will cost me. I sold Verkos, Rafinha and De Gea to Havertz, Pukki and Schmeichel, captain Havertz. I'm planning to bench boost Game Week 36. I like that move, to be fair. They looks like a really good transfer to Syndra. I sound like a broken record, but all these transfers look good. No C mids could hurt us all. I'm worried. I opted to keep my double Spurs mid and captain Mount last minute. Yeah, the thing is, you know, even De Bruyne could get a rest or two here or there, and City could win without him. You know, De Bruyne for me is the best one, but do I get rid of Salah for him or Son? Not for me personally. I think they're more consistent FPL options across the whole season, and they offer better value in my opinion. Sterling's really good for this week, but do I want him long term? No. Foden, you know, he's decent, but he's been fairly inconsistent, I'd say, over the last few weeks. Good luck, Greener. I probably just butchered that, but yeah, good luck to you as well. Daniel saying Saka bench. I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm going to check that now. Do you think Martinelli will start for Arsenal? Well, if Saka's benched, then maybe. I don't know how that would happen, though, because then who plays on the right? I mean, that's the thing. Who plays on the right, then? Would it be Pepe? I mean, I don't see it. Who knows? Who knows at this point? Martinelli has played on the right, to be fair, against Southampton, you know, kind of switching with Saka. Let's wait and see. Sancho will rinse the Emirates like Jesse Lingard did. We'll wait and see. I'm not too sure. I mean, Arsenal have a good record against United recently. That's what I will say. Obviously, they lost this season, but before that, Arteta was unbeaten against Oli, for example. Let's wait and see. Even I'm a United fan, but they're absolutely bad now. I think Arsenal will win. I think Arsenal are a better team, but United have those players like Ronaldo that will, you know, just drag United out of situations. I could see a draw. I honestly could see a draw today, or a United win. But it's quite tough to call. I was going to say cautiously optimistic with Arsenal. I'm not even optimistic. I'm just cautious. So even though Arsenal are favourites, I'd say I'm literally not really too confident. Before the UCL games, do you think Tsimikas could start? Yes, definitely. That's what I said earlier. I think Robertson could actually be benched here or come off early. Captain Havertz, but seriously worried about Salah. As long as you have him, I think you're fine, mate. It's not the worst. And Havertz has a double game week. Ronaldo's back. Yeah, exactly. No, he's going to start. I'm pretty sure about that. My first -8 of the season. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Hopefully the players are brought in. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And I like the -8 you proposed, Aranyas. Looks really good. Hi, Dylan. Dallin? I can't even say my own name, so you probably should not listen to me anymore. Hi, Dylan. My chat was probably lost in the other chats, but I did Doherty, Rafinha, Kane to Alonso, Havertz and Werner with the week only before the wildcard. No, I like those moves. You know, you're really targeting this Game Week 34. That makes sense. And wildcard 35 to get out of that potentially is the way to go. I like it, Adil. Good luck to you, and hopefully your decisions pay off. Captain Mount and bench Barnes over Broja. Hopefully that doesn't hurt me too bad. I mean, Barnes is benched apparently, so yeah. Alright, Goldhead, no need to repeat yourself. I already read out your chat. Maybe 4-2-3-1 with Martinelli and Smith Rowe as cams. Potentially, but why would you change a winning formula? I don't know. I think they should just play the same team that they did against Chelsea, but maybe Tomiyasu comes in for Cedric. But yeah. Did I do the right thing? Sold Rudiger for James captain. Also have Tellez. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Daniel. I think so. And you're captaining James, and he's got such a high ceiling. I honestly think you probably did make the right move. Thank you, McGovern. First time watching you stream. Really good content. Respect how many questions you get through. Thank you very much. And hopefully we get to see you here in more streams. But yeah, we try. I'll be honest, my voice is gone. So I definitely need a long break after this. I probably won't speak for the rest of the day. That's how bad it is. Got Mount and King Kai for... I shouldn't even have said that. For Kai, captain, for Bruno and Rafinha, considering Palace kept clean sheet in the last home games. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like those two transfers, Dergish. Mount and Havertz, even the wild card, you know. I said the triple up for Chelsea for me is a Chelsea defender like James or Alonso or Rudiger, who's now obviously injured, and Havertz and Mount. So yeah. Captain De Bruyne, Vice Captain Havertz. Good luck, mate. And De Bruyne could be really good. That's a big differential there. Bench boost 36 and free at 37. Yes. If I had those chips remaining, I would do the same, Andy. And I'm free hitting in 37. Force on Mateta and Pukki. Look, before the last few games, I like Mateta, but he's been benched, and that worries me. As for Pukki, he's going to start week in, week out. He's in good form, decent fixtures, and he doubles in 36, so there's a lot to like. Salah captain was amazing last week, changed last minute from Madison. Fair play, mate. Yeah, I captained him as well, and that was the difference maker for me. That was the difference between a decent week and a really good one for me. Welcome, Bobby Perez. Out of Mount and Havertz, who takes pens? I believe it's actually Havertz. So Mount took a penalty to score a hat-trick when Jorginho wasn't on the pitch against Norwich, but I think it's Havertz that's actually second. That's what I've been hearing from Chelsea fans recently. So Mount would arguably be just behind Havertz in the pecking order. Yeah, when Jorginho and Lukaku are on the pitch, yeah. Well, the captaincy is already gone, mate, unfortunately. You know, the deadline is already passed. But yeah, I think it's Havertz. And either way, I would captain Havertz over Mount. Was getting Pukki in for Wood a right thing to do? I believe so, mate. And Wood, you know, he plays Norwich this week, but then after he faces City and Liverpool. There's no way Saka doesn't start unless he picked up an injury. Exactly. I think if he doesn't start, it's to do with an injury, and Arsenal are very unlucky in that case. Are you from an island? Do you have a Cork accent? No. I've got an Irish name. That's as far, you know, that's as close to Irish as I get. I don't speak Irish. You know, I can't even pronounce Doherty, if you can say it. Is that even the right pronunciation? I don't know. Honestly, I'm not. I'm actually from London, so yeah, the way I say London is probably London-esque. But yeah, trust me, I've never heard that before, but obviously, you know, I don't mind. Today was an intensive deadline day. Looks like you spoke a lot. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we tend to speak a lot anyway, you know, even, you know, my family members say I talk a lot of, you know, I was going to say the S word. Yeah, but yeah, it has been intensive today. Shall I activate the wildcard as soon as game updates? Well, if you're definitely going to wildcard, no matter what, then yes. But if you have, you know, a bit of doubts and you might wildcard in 36 or whatever, then you don't have to rush it. But yes, obviously, if you're definitely wildcarding in Game Week 35, just do it and try to catch the price rises as well. Yes, I'm pretty sure Jorginho, Lukaku, Havertz, Mount in that order. Yeah, I agree. I think that was probably the way it goes, Harry. Yeah. The Man City double news was given by Krill in his tweet 16 hours ago. Let me double check this. I think it was a few podders and a few people who, you know, really guess this sort of stuff that said that they think it's going to go into Game Week 36 instead of 37. But yeah, let me double check that. Yeah, I didn't see the tweet, so yeah. Oh yeah, Ben Crenlich said it. I reckon Man City and Wolves are roughly 70% likely to double in 36. Yeah, in that case, I'm looking to get Cancelo in for 36. I'll have a team full of doublers then. I haven't shown this actually. The other fixture that hasn't been rescheduled is Saints vs Liverpool on the FPL website. Both teams blank in 37. I'm 99% sure that will move back into 37, so no blank for Liverpool. I'm still looking to free it there though. Alright, so let me show you. So Oh dear. So yeah, this is my team for Game Week 35, by the way, just a kind of insight. Let me just take a little break, by the way, because my voice is about, it feels like it's burning or something. Jesus, 1 second. All right, Jesus. We're going to be going on for a little bit longer. Maybe for the lineups, maybe. But yeah, just to give you an insight, at the moment, this is how my team looks like in Game Week 35. I think I would start Jose Sa over Ramsdale once again. Hopefully, there's kind of a tradition to bench Ramsdale. He gets points, and I'm happy anyway. Captain Salah or Son, we'll talk more about that as the time comes. But then Game Week 36, I'm looking to do 2 transfers. And I can get Gobin, basically, just dead end that third striker spot. So Vekos to Gobin, and that gives me enough money, just enough money, to get Cancelo in for Matt Doherty. And then I start with that. If Cancelo has Newcastle at home and Wolves, I think away it would be. That's a good double as well. And I'm happy with this team. That's a really good team in my opinion. And I don't need to free hit. In 37, I'd then be able to free hit. So let me know what you think. But I think I like that a lot, actually. So it's a shame that City don't double in 37. That was ideal for me. Free hitting, De Bruyne, Cancelo, and whoever, Laporte or I don't know, Sterling or whoever, into my free hit 37 would have been amazing. But yeah, it's looking likely now that City are doubling in 36 instead. What's the news on Ronaldo? Well, he's been training, Bobby. He's been training recently. I think he's going to start. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. And thank you, Ditya, for the clarification on the tweet. Thoughts on Ben Davies this week? I don't expect a clean sheet for Spurs, but he's not a bad option. I chose to keep Saka and sell Rafinha. I would have done the same thing. Yeah, if he's benched, I'll just have to keep hope Rafinha blanks. Yeah, I still think it's the right call long term. Saka has a better double in 36, and he just has better fixtures in general. Will I be here for the team news? Maybe. I'm not going to promise anything though. 17 minutes left for the lineups. Was triple captain Salah this game crazy? I wouldn't say it's crazy, to be fair. I know United fan who actually triple captained Salah to jinx him against Man United. It didn't really turn out the way they expected. They wanted Salah to blank and to jinx him, but yeah, it's kind of inevitable, really. But yeah, I don't think it's crazy. I'm not sure I would have done it though this week. Yeah, I already answered that question, Bobby. Yeah, so should I get certain players to catch price rises? Yeah, definitely. I'd try to do that. Just bear in mind, you need a player to go up by 0.2 million in price in order to make a profit and sell them for an extra 0.1 million in value. How to catch first in mini league with similar teams? Well, sometimes it's thinking outside the box. Captaining Havertz or Mount this week. It's not going to be... Well, maybe it will be as popular as it does seem because everyone seems to be doing it at the moment. But you have to sometimes think outside the box. You have to maybe get off some certain players. I'm seeing some people getting rid of Salah, go for De Bruyne or Sterling or Son or whoever to try be different. You might have to make a few calls like that, but I'd still try to be quite patient. I know time is running out, but as long as you keep making good decisions and you're captaining the player you think is going to score the most points and you're bringing in players ahead of the curve, I think that's the way to go. But honestly, there's no set formula to do well in FPL or to win your mini leagues. Thoughts on something like Son to Bernardo, City double in 36? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Bernardo shouts. I honestly don't see it. I know he's one of the best scoring players in the midfield this season, but I wouldn't get rid of Son, mate. Honestly, I get your point, but not for me. But yeah, it does make sense. You can get Richarlison as well up front, but I wouldn't do it. Not right now. Yes, I put Mount captain, vice captain Kai Havertz because I heard he's third in line, and then Kai because in Club World Cup Kai took a pen in the 118th minute, but Mount was on the pitch, and I've seen Mount taking pens in the league. Fair enough, but I think most Chelsea fans would say Kai is slightly above in the pecking order for penalties, but I hope it's Mount. Obviously, I hope it is. I wildcarded have no Spurs and Arsenal players. Yeah, I've seen a few people say that earlier as well, so it's not too uncommon. If there's players you want in your team come the deadline, it's best to transfer them now and activate the wildcard as well. Yeah, you'll save 0.1 million. Exactly. Check FPL Statistics, which we went through earlier on in the stream, and try to garner, which players are going up and down in price. Who was your captain last week? It was Salah, Adil. It was Salah. Salah will be rested. UCL next week. Mount the ideal pick. Triple captain. Look, that also crossed my mind, and that's why I changed the captaincy. I think Salah might not play the full 90, so he could get 60 or 70, or you never know, he could be benched. It's not impossible. He has been benched against Everton in years gone by before. Obviously, they're not, we weren't fighting for the title really in those seasons, but you never know. Yeah, that's true, Flying Dutchman. I agree. Saka's better long term than Rafinha, but I sold Rafinha over Saka with the intention of wildcard 35. Yeah, I get what you mean, but sometimes these things happen. You know, if Saka is fully fit, I'd expect him to start anyway. We'll see in 40 minutes' time. Salah performs mostly at away matches, yeah, but he got 19 points in the last game at home against Man United. I mean, the thing is, last season people would say the opposite. They'd say no, Salah only performs at home. You know, Mane away from home, Salah at home. Yeah, I think there's more to it, basically. Dylan, I don't know if you answered this question, but my team news... no, there's no team news about Martinelli starting. Apparently Saka's benched. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen where that's been coming from. Yeah, by the way, Maguire is on the bench. Maguire is on the bench. This is according to Team News and Ticks, which is quite popular in the FPL community as well. That's the only thing he says in regards to the Arsenal-Manchester United game. Yeah, CR7's back. Yeah, he's going to be starting then, isn't he? Oh, that's great. Typical. Jesus. It's just it's a big shame, you know, for Arsenal. But yeah, let me type in Saka, see if we find anything. Yeah, Saka's trending right now, so who knows? I'm going to try to see if there's anything that I can get from this. Let's check the latest tweets then. Is there anything? Yeah, I can't see anything right now. Yeah, I don't know where this come from, to be honest. I don't know where it came from. Alright, I'll keep checking. I'll keep checking Twitter. But yeah, no. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Saka's going to score today. Hopefully they haven't jinxed him. God almighty. Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything. Alright. Well, back to the questions. Pookie Party, hopefully. I'm finally on it. Now watching blank against Newcastle. What team would you target in the wildcard 35? City, for sure. Especially with the news that, well, Ben Crellin's assumption that they're going to probably double in 36. I'd go really big on City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and maybe one or two Leicester players, Arsenal, Spurs, basically. But yeah, the top three teams I would really go big on. If you have no free hit left, then I would go for an Aston Villa player or two. So Coutinho, Cash, for example. Bench boost in 36, yes. And I would use the free hit in 37 Phoenix, yeah. Dylan, do you watch cricket? No, I honestly don't. And I have no idea about cricket, nothing. I remember 2019-20 season, I was always Salah better at home and Mane. Yeah, in that season, it was quite true. But afterwards, you know, Salah can perform in any game, at home, away from home, whatever. So, yeah, I never really paid too much attention to it. Maguire probably, because of the threat. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the main reason, other than performances. What's your bench, Dylan? My current bench for my Gameweek 34 team, it was Ramsdale in goal, Weghorst, Broy and Doherty. Yeah, that was my bench. Yeah. Or we can just wait 11 minutes for the team news. Yeah, maybe. And then we can wrap things up. But this has been going on for like 2 hours 20 now, if I can count. Yeah, we started at 9 a.m. pretty much. I regret starting Saka over Martinelli. I mean, I don't know. I just haven't seen where the Saka news has come from, to be honest. It might be absolute madness. FPL Twitter's peak when Mateta's trending. yeah, that's true. Forgot to change captain to Havertz. Guess he's scoring a hat-trick now. Let's wait and see. If he doesn't, then maybe he dodged a bullet. Thank you, FH. Thank you. It's quite fun. But yeah, I'll try to stay on for the deadline. But I'll be honest, my voice is really on the edge. I am keen on City team news. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any. But I would expect Gabriel Jesus, maybe Grealish and Sterling to start. Maybe the likes of De Bruyne, Gundogan, you know, all these sorts of players. But yeah, I'm not sure about Foden and Mahrez. I think Cancelo starts. He's not playing in the Champions League anyway. He's suspended. Yeah, I have the free hit, so we need to prioritise Villa on the wild card. Yeah, so in that case, you don't need 2 or 3. I think 1 will suffice. Should I get Spurs players on the wild card? I would still get 1 or 2, personally. A lot of people are going cold on them. You know, it's one game against Brighton, who also beat Arsenal. I'd still have 1 or 2 Spurs players in. So Kulusevski and Son, or Kane, whatever you want to do. Give me some reassurance on my wild card. So, yeah, I like the goalkeepers. Defence looks really solid. You know, Cash as well for the doubles in 36 and 37. Salah, yeah, really good midfield. Gordon as your enabler. I have no problems with that, Sharia. If you're looking to bench boost in 36, then I would look to improve on Gelhardt. But other than that, that looks solid. You don't need reassurance. Yeah, I will be drinking some more. Yeah, No, I'm not fasting. No, I'm not fasting. But I've been drinking water all day basically, but it's not enough. I'm literally drunk an entire pint of water, and it's still not enough. All right, I have some regrets. I wouldn't have too many regrets with that, to be honest. Oh, no, the dreaded question. Arsenal United predictions. You know what? I'd say draw. I'd say draw, yeah. I think a draw. But United have a chance of winning, so do Arsenal. Arsenal are the favourites based on the form of United recently, although Arsenal lost 3 of the last 4 games. I'd probably say a draw, yeah. Took out Son for Mount, have Kane and die out for Robertson. That's a good set of transfers, to be fair, Yusuf. Captaincy on James, not sure if it's the right call. It's a good decision anyway. You know, I think James is one of the better options, I think, yeah. I actually, look, I consider captaining him, but he's never really in my top 2 thoughts. It was always Salah or Mount for me. Let's wait and see. Yeah. Doesn't Ramadan end in 2nd or 3rd of May? That's what someone told me, but I don't know if they're right. And actually, my birthday was the first day of Ramadan, so 2nd of April. Wow, Ben, you as well. Yeah. Good luck, Dylan, with Game Week 34. Looking forward to Tuesday for UCL Fantasy. Yeah, there's never a break, isn't there? And also probably a reaction stream tomorrow. There's probably a video on Monday. Yeah. Yeah, Ramadan's gone very fast this year. Mate, the whole month, April, the whole year's gone really quickly for me. It's right, bro. Wait, what? Oh, fair enough. Oh, no. I thought you meant it in a passive-aggressive way. No. Yeah, I think a draw. I don't know. It's tough, you know. Arsenal have actually gotten the better of United recently, especially Old Trafford. The Emirates. I don't know, though. Ronaldo coming back is... Yeah. And Maguire not starting, maybe. 3-3 draw with Saka and Telles hat-trick. Telles scoring a hat-trick. If he scores a goal... No, okay, no. Let me not say it. I don't want to jinx. Yeah, it has, yeah. Yeah, no, wow. Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? But no, I'm not for years. I'm not. Yeah, 2nd May hopefully is Eid. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's it. Okay, yeah, that was right. Who do you think will get more points for the rest of the season, Laporte or Foden? I actually think Laporte, just because I think he's going to start most games. Obviously, if he starts getting benched, then I'll change my mind. But right now, I'd say Laporte. It's not a big difference between the two, though. Yeah. So, yeah, 6 minutes for the lineups. We might as well stay for them. Oh, my God. You're going to see my reaction. And me watching Arsenal. I mean, recently I've been calmer because I've just kind of not disassociated myself with Arsenal, but I just kind of like, yeah, they're going to bottle it, or I'm not really too fussed because I'm kind of expecting the worst. But when I get into Arsenal, really, it's not good. It's not good for my my heart. Oh, Graham saying tweets by Albinio, great. Always with the positive tweets. Arsenal's worst win percentages in the Premier League, and the worst is obviously against United and Liverpool. So, yeah, thanks for that. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, no. Just have to wait for the lineups. Maybe we'll get a bit of early news, like a few minutes before, but I don't know. Oh my God, I'm just going to go on the Arsenal lineups. I'm kind of nervous. Barely. Alright, we're going to... Yeah. Ronaldo back as United fans want 6 changes to lineup versus Arsenal. Oh my God. Jesus. Alright, I'm going to go on Arsenal's page. Okay, I'm going to go on Arsenal's page here. I'm going to get the Twitter page up. We're just going to have it ready. And also Manchester United. So, yeah, we're going to get that ready. I'll also be checking other pages as well, see what's been happening. Okay, so yeah, we'll just be refreshing this. There we go, Manchester United as well. Wow, there's a helicopter going around here. Maybe Emirates protection. I don't live literally glued to the Emirates, but yeah, it's not too far. Hopefully I haven't given my location to some weirdos. Thoughts on Jesus leaving City? I think it's probably a good move. You know, he hasn't really been getting too many minutes this season. He's definitely not the answer to the striker problems. He could be a good, you know, kind of winger to come in and out of the team. Not play every single game, but play maybe the majority. I like his work rate. He is, I'd say, a decent passer. People don't give him credit for that. He's caused problems to even the best of teams like Madrid in the recent years. I remember his performance against Varane. But Arsenal still need 2 strikers, in my opinion. I actually own both Saka and Telles. That's why I'm heavy biased. I'm a Liverpool fan, so don't care. Yeah, no, exactly, no. I know that, but Saka hat-trick, you know, I'm all ears, definitely, but Telles, no way, mate. Come on. Nah, man, it's all love. Hopefully Arsenal takes the W. No clean sheet, though. No, yeah, I'll be honest. I don't want to jinx Arsenal because whenever I'm confident or whatever, they just let me down, basically. You know, I thought we could get a draw against Palace, beat Brighton and Southampton, and they get 0 points out of 9. And they should have gotten 3 probably out of that, but they deserve to lose to Brighton and Palace. Yeah, and then against Chelsea, I think we're going to lose, and then they win. So, you know what? I'm not going to say anything, basically. Yeah, Saka, yeah, he should start. We'll find out in 3 minutes. Thanks, Dylan. Went for Laporte over Gordon on Wildcard to fit in Coutinho. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that, to be fair. Salah captain, good choice this week? I think so, but just bear in mind he might not get the full 90. Off topic, but any tips on how to focus and study for exams? I think you asked me this around November, if my memory serves correctly. Any tips? I think you have to find something that works for you, whether it's taking a lot of notes. Wait, 1 second. Jesus. Damn allergy. Definitely don't take that as advice. Okay, so, yeah. One other thing that I would say is... So yeah, finding something that works for you. I did a lot of highlighting, so I would read over notes and then I'd highlight key bits of information, even in textbooks, for example, that obviously I paid for in A-levels, for example. What else would I consider? Talking to people. Revising with other people is actually quite underrated. Obviously, it depends on who you're revising with. You know, make sure they're not, you know, they don't have ADHD or something. No offense to anyone who does have that, but you know what I mean. You know, not someone who gets constantly distracted, who procrastinates, who then says, "Oh yeah, let's go do something. Let's watch the football or something." And what else? Watch videos. I'd say video. Obviously, that's a really big way of consuming, you know, information nowadays. I think videos is really crucial as well. So I'd say try to consume information in a different, you know, range of ways. Whether you're looking at cards, you know, what's it called? The revision cards, you know, and trying to memorize answers. I did that a lot for, like, you know, papers where I needed to remember keywords in particular. So there's quite a lot of things you could do, but that's kind of a brief overview. What do you think of playing Odegaard this week? No, yeah, look, I'm not a big fan of him FPL-wise, but, you know, if you have him, you probably do play with him, don't you? Yeah. No, oh, good. No. Anyways, best player this weekend. This weekend, probably the usual suspects: De Bruyne, Sterling, Salah, Mason Mount, Havertz, etc. Thoughts on Lacazette's future minutes? Look, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in and starts in, you know, one of the games to come, but I think Nketiah should start today. I probably did ask in November. I think it was around that time. Yeah, I think Conte could be a good match for PSG. They need his winning mentality. Yes, my problem though is Conte's record in Europe is awful. And even though PSG are labelled as bottlers in Europe, they have reached a final and the semi-final in recent years. So yeah, the lineup is out. Great. Fantastic. Is Arsenal's lineup out? Let me try read that out first. Obviously, yeah. Okay, so yeah, no Tomiyasu in the starting 11, so not being rushed back. To be fair, that makes sense. Ramsdale, Cedric, White, Gabriel, Tavares, Xhaka, Elneny, Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Nketiah. So yeah, Saka starts, you see. That's why I sometimes do not trust Twitter. They just chat a lot of nonsense, mate. Bench, Leno, Tomiyasu, Holding, Swanson, Lokonga, Aziz, Pepe, Martinelli, Lacazette. That's a decent bench, you know. That's much better than what I've seen recently. And yeah, you know, it's good to see Tomiyasu back. And that's pretty much what I would have played, probably, I guess. Hopefully Arsenal can do the business. Jesus. Oh, God. Come on, man. How do you drop points to Brighton, Palace and Southampton, you absolute mugs? They literally could be 6 points clear of top 4, and then even a draw in this game wouldn't be too bad. Now they need to win this, in my opinion. Let's check United's lineup. Yay, Ronaldo's back. Fantastic. Oh, God. Yeah, De Gea, Lindelof, Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Varane is back. Fantastic. Dalot, Sancho, Telles, Matic, Elanga, McTominay. That's a better team than what they had before. They actually have defensive protection. The only kind of positives I could get, you know, from an Arsenal perspective is that at least Fred isn't back. You know, he's been good recently, probably top 3 United players this season. And who else is missing? Pogba's out for the rest of the season, I think it is. Henderson, Bailly, Jones, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Lingard, Mata, Garnacho and Rashford on the bench. So, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Great. As you can see, I'm not too optimistic, I maybe should be, but I honestly think Arsenal are capable of, effing up, basically. Yeah, Nketiah starts, yeah. I'm not really too surprised by that. And Saka. And I don't know why people, I don't know where people got that from. Try and make a mental note of the source that said that and just ignore them whenever it comes to this news. If someone is preparing for their A-levels or GCSEs, do a lot of past papers. Yes, that's a really good tip that I didn't mention. Definitely. They can help you prepare and give you a feel for how your exams are going to be. It also gives you more confidence in terms of, how to address certain questions. And also, even if the question in the actual exam is different, just the type of question and being used to answering in that format. Definitely. I think that's a great advice, especially in those kind of essay-based questions in A-level where I did basically all my subjects were essay-based. So yeah, that's a really good call. You do different questions, you tackle different subjects. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, lineups are out. Martin benched. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Yeah, Saka starts. Yeah, England A-levels. Yeah, so did I. Rudiger, Doherty, Barnes for James, Alonso, Mount, captain. Yep, I like that. Junior Young. Yep. Not a fan of that. As an Arsenal fan, we can't defend with Cedric and Tavares. Yeah, prefer some sort of inverted fullback. Yeah, no, that I agree. That also was a reason why Tierney wasn't as great of an FPL option towards the end before we got injured. Tomiyasu inverts as the kind of third centre-back, and then Tierney is given the license to bomb forward. Yeah, I'm not confident about Ronaldo, yeah, definitely not. I'm not confident about Tomiyasu not being in the starting 11 and it being Cedric and Tavares. That's why, looking at the lineups, I'm not that confident, actually. Yeah, no lack of Martinelli. No surprises there, in my opinion. Brighton, to be fair, beat Spurs and went on a good run. Yeah, but Arsenal, I still think they should be beating Brighton. And getting 0 points from those 3 games is criminal. It's a sackable offence, even. I'd go as far to say that. They should... Looking at the performances, they should have been in Southampton. They were maybe a bit unlucky there, but the finishing's awful. Against Palace, they got battered, although they should have scored a 1 goal or 2. Arsenal should be getting 6 or 7 points from those 9 minimum, in my opinion. The game is 50% more harder now. Yeah, Maguire dropped. We'll wait and see, though. I mean, Varane has been suspect this season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays well today. How do you drop points against Brighton? Look, Brighton aren't a bad team, but they were clinical against Arsenal, and that's what kind of, rubbed me the wrong way. Let's put it that way, Let's wait and see. But Brighton aren't bad. It's just Arsenal should be beating them at home. Imagine Pogba's played his last United game. Yeah, and he came off in like 10 minutes against Liverpool, or even it was 5%. Yeah, Pogba's also out for next season. What? For next season? I'm guessing it's until next season. Cool. I would say do past papers, as that's what helped me do the most. Yeah, I'm doing my A-levels right now. Yeah, I did them quite a while back now. It feels like a distant memory. A-levels went so quickly. Do you reckon Nketiah's getting more points than Pukki this game week? I don't think so, but I hope so. Even though I have Pukki, I hope he does. Thanks for the great content as usual. Have a good game week. Thank you, Triple B. Good luck to you as well. Enjoy the football, mate. No, Maguire's not playing, Ahmed. He's not playing. So yeah, you can see the lineup here. He's on the bench as we went through both teams. Sure, Abdullah. Is Maguire? Yeah. Your Spanish accent is cool. Yes, I do. My parents are from Argentina, basically. My family are from Argentina, so I've got a dual nationality. I'm guessing it's because of how I pronounce Garnacho. Yeah. Is Rudiger expected to be back fit? Honestly, no idea, mate, but he's out for the first game for sure. I'm not sure about the second game against United. Who is the United captain? Oh, the captain for United? It's Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Bruno Fernandes. If everyone's fit, who is the strongest Arsenal 11? Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, Tierney, Xhaka, Partey, Saka, Odegaard, Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, and probably Nketiah. Yeah, I guess Nketiah. That's probably the strongest 11. And I'm only saying Nketiah because he can actually score at the moment. Lacazette can't score from open play. We don't have a striker, basically, but the rest of the team looks alright. Yeah, Xhaka is very underrated. The thing is, he does make a lot of mistakes, but what I will say is he does get targeted a lot from referees, and I'm tired of speaking about referees this season. Even against Chelsea, some stupid decisions made by John Moss, as per. honestly, look, Xhaka, even against France, he was man of the match. He was bossing that France midfield. Pogba was good in that game as well, but Xhaka was really good. And, that nutmeg he did against Chelsea in his own box, the audacity. I think if he has someone next to him, like even an El Neni, although not an ideal midfield partnership, Partey, for example, that gets the best out of Xhaka. And I don't think he's a bad player for sure. I think he has become a bit of a meme or a bit of a laughing stock, but he is a good player. Is he the answer long term? Is he going to take Arsenal to the next level? No, but he's not a bad player in my opinion. Lord Dennis turns up against City, and I hope not. I hope City win. I know you're a Liverpool fan, but you disagree. Best of luck to all of you with your A-levels, your studies, your GCSEs, whatever it may be. Do you miss Aubameyang? No, not really, because he was missing open goals for Arsenal. So not really. And Arsenal played worse with Aubameyang up front. So I think it was the best move for both parties, honestly. What I do miss is a good striker in general. So we haven't had one for, I'd say, 1 or 2 years since Aubameyang was in good form and everything. And that's pretty much my kind of assessment of it. Aubameyang's doing well at Barcelona, but even then he's missed some good chances against, I think it was Frankfurt in the Europa League. He missed an open goal as well. And against Napoli, although he did score in that game. Yeah, I wish all the best for him, but I just don't think it worked out at the end with Arsenal, especially with his relationship with Arteta. Deeping our Liverpool could be top of the league if that Rodri handball versus Everton was given as a penalty. Yeah, look, I called those decisions out. City have had a few this season, but then Liverpool as well, if we're being frank. You're never going to get every single decision right, but the bottom story is the FA are a disgrace. The referees and the PGMOL, I don't want to talk about them. Can we watch the Tifa video on Xhaka? I probably won't. Either way, copyright and stuff like that. But we're going to be wrapping up soon. Feel for Xhaka. People will say that I'm biased because I'm an Arsenal fan, but it does seem like there's no. There definitely is an agenda against him. Even when he plays well, people still don't really give him the credit. It's just also what he's done he hasn't helped himself in certain aspects, but he is passionate, I'll give him that, and he isn't a bad player. He's a decent player. He's just not the solution for Arsenal going forward. Alexis Sanchez was class. His link up with in terms of his link up with Cesc, it was more so in Barcelona, not in Arsenal obviously. With Santi, look, I think if Cazorla didn't get injured, Arsenal win the league in 15-16. Arsenal won like 65% of their games with Cazorla and only 35% without him. A bit similar to Partey right now. John Moss was against us for most of the game, but the pen probably leveled it up. The thing is, though, even Shearer said it, I think it was a pen. Like, yes, it's a soft pen, but it is one. Azpilicueta should have been much smarter. Obviously, I can understand why Chelsea fans were aggrieved there, but then look at all the other decisions. He was awful. He's absolutely awful. Same with Martin Atkinson. Bloody hate that guy. Who else? Paul Tierney, don't like him. Michael Oliver, yuck. Who else is there? Craig Pawson. The fact I know their names says a lot. They always try to be the star of the show. Piss off. Yeah, the game is updated. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ben. Thank you very much. And yes, good luck with the rest of the week. Hopefully you enjoy it. That Jota penalty against Palace, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It goes both ways. City have had some really questionable decisions against Arsenal. I think that was a really poor performance by, who is it? Stuart Atwell, another one I didn't mention. Jesus Christ. And then he gets rewarded with a Carabao Cup final to his name. This is what I mean. There's no repercussions for these referees. But yes, Liverpool have had decisions as well, in my opinion. And then, even in the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea, was Lukaku offside? I don't know. There's a lot of things you can point towards. Yeah, the agenda against Xhaka is rooted in the tantrum. Yeah, but even, I'm talking about the referee's agenda. Like, for example, against Aston Villa, yellow card, I don't even know what that guy's name is. He brought a yellow card out to Xhaka, and Xhaka asked why, and then he says, too many fouls, accumulation of fouls. That was literally his first foul of the game. So either the referee can't count, or he has an agenda against Xhaka. So pick one, I'm all ears. But honestly, I'm sick to death with the referees. They almost ruin, great games of football. Like Chelsea-Arsenal, I almost completely forgot about how good the game was because of dumb referees like John Moss. I hate talking about referees, but they literally always try to be the star of the show. Even in Copa America or CONMEBOL qualifiers, referees, they benefit Brazil. I'm tired of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in the World Cup as well. Fixing does happen in football, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say, but I personally believe football can be fixed sometimes, to a really big degree. Look at the 2002 World Cup, for example. I'm not trying to go back 20 plus years. You can even go back to a few weeks ago and pick out examples. But yeah, that's my kind of opinion on it. Yep, Abdullah, same here. I hate every single one of them. Whenever a referee has a decent game or not too bad, I actually point out and say, well done, you're not that bad today. You haven't been the star of the show and you haven't actually, detracted from the quality of the football. I hate inserting English referee works, to be honest. Yeah, if they involve VAR, used to make the game better. The thing is, VAR isn't the problem. It's the way they apply it. Just think about it. They are able to sometimes go to, let me just bring up the Arsenal app again, just for those of you who haven't seen. So in terms of the VAR, they can choose which decisions or which incidents they go back to check. So it's literally, they are untouchable. They never have an interview after the game. They never have to give explanations for their decisions. And meanwhile, the managers, the players, they all have to face the brunt of the criticism. Yes, obviously they should, but so should the referees. There's no repercussions. Stuart Atwell, one of the worst refereeing performances in 2022. How was he rewarded or how is he punished? He gets a Carabao Cup final between Chelsea and City. Explain that. Why is he rewarded with a cup final when he was literally one of the worst? He put in one of the worst refereeing performances I've seen in a long time. It just makes no sense in my opinion. Yeah, Paul Tierney's awful. They're all awful. That ref that gave Kane a yellow and Robbo a red. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things you can point towards. Like, I think Robbo probably did deserve a red, but so did Kane. Like, there's so many examples. Players like Kane, like, I'm not trying to be biased, I don't want to just go in on a Tottenham player, but I think Kane gets protected a lot compared to someone like Xhaka, for example, who gets a yellow for an accumulation of fouls when he's made one foul. Unbelievable. Maguire out. Man United win rate increases 101.1. I don't know about that because it's not like Varane and Lindelof have been amazing themselves. Like, I'll be real, but let's wait and see. I hope United lose. Let's be quite frank. Which decision did Liverpool get away with? I mean, am I really a City fan? Jesus Christ! Take an opinion. Calm down. It's just an opinion. So Liverpool have never got a decision in their favour, yeah? All right, next question. There's no point talking to you. Whenever I see a ref making a terrible decision, I always think about why Wenger said regarding English referees. Exactly. England and Italy, the only two countries with professional referees and no English referee at the World Cup. Wenger was spot on. And I think ever since then, the referees have, taken issue with Arsenal even more. That's just the way I see it, but let's wait and see. Some of the refereeing decisions, despite being the best league, is just appalling. Yeah, and that's why sometimes I just don't buy into this best league business, If you can't have good officiating, at least competent, then I'm not bothered. Do you think Gabriel's good enough? No, he is good enough. He does make some mistakes sometimes, though. Not too many, but he's a bit rash, For example, although the second yellow against City was stupid, and it shouldn't have happened, it wasn't a second yellow, he basically got 2 yellows in a minute. He should be a bit smarter, basically. But he is a good defender. He's probably the best centre-back Arsenal have, including Salah. Yeah, there's no point. Some people just can't take criticism. Or, everyone gets decisions in their favour. Oh, no, you love City, you hate Liverpool. Well, what can we do? VAR was implemented to help football, but the people behind it make it a controversial thing. Exactly. That's what I mean. VAR isn't the problem. It's the application. Once again, I can go towards international football. Referees can check decisions in favour of Brazil and say, oh, that's a penalty or whatever. But then when it's for another team, they don't check it, For example, Alisson should have been sent off against Ecuador. Nothing, Even if they check VAR, they just basically ignored it. So, yeah, there you go. I personally think he is sometimes with the challenges he gets away with. And sometimes he wins fouls and he dives and it shouldn't be a foul, basically. And also, what I think people should do, what referees should do, is book players for diving. And I say this even with Arsenal. If Saka dives, that's just the way I see it. England captain gets protected by arrest? I think so, but obviously it's all down to opinion. There definitely have been instances, in my opinion, that Kane has been protected, whether it's this season, last season, or whatever. Maguire is not good for Arsenal. What will the score be, do you think? I'm not sure. I said draw at the beginning of the game, and whenever I back Arsenal to win, they lose. Whenever I back them to lose, they win, so I'm just not saying anything. Do you think Partey has lived up to expectations? First season, no. But in the last few months, like apart from the Palace game, from I'd say December to March, he has been very good. Arguably one of the best midfielders in the league. So he hasn't lived up to expectations fully, but he has been very good in the last few months, and he's been crucial to Arsenal's top 4 hopes. Let's see what else. Milner and Thiago deserve reds. there's a lot of examples, aren't there? I mean, this is what I mean, the Carabao Cup final as well. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm a City fan apparently. I've never been called that before, but yeah. I do know someone who actually was an Arsenal fan and switched to City, but I'd never even think about doing that. Let me just make that very clear. And I also pointed that out. I think Thiago should have been sent off in the second game against City. Milner was a blatant red in the first game, and that's what I mean. So both teams have had decisions in their favour and against. So yeah, no. That Spurs vs Liverpool game is probably the worst decisions of the season. Kane red, Jota pen not given, Robbo red given. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying Liverpool always get benefited, but there have been instances where they have been, and there, as you just mentioned, Liverpool probably, had quite a lot of decisions against them in that game. Kane is not diving, so you're telling me Kane has never dived in his life? Okay. Atwood's performance in the Arsenal City game is probably one of the worst refereeing performances I've seen. Another one I want to, let's raise a toast to Craig Pawson, Wolves versus Arsenal. David Luiz, apparently he touched him. He touched, who is it? I can't even remember who it was in the box. Enough for it to be a red card. That was an absolutely dumb decision. I probably raged the most from that game I've ever done, Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that one again. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Singh. Like we can all have our own opinions. I just don't get it. So apparently I can't talk badly about Liverpool, or I can't say they've ever been benefited. Like, come on. That's like me saying Arsenal have been benefited. Of course, we've been benefited at some points. I'll be honest. I think out of the top six, Arsenal do get a lot of the bad decisions, but every team gets decisions in their favour. Liverpool, I think, this season, maybe arguably been up there, but apparently I can't say that. So yeah, I wish I was a City fan. I don't know though, because there's also soul behind a football club, isn't there? I mean, look, no disrespect to City, they can build something big, they can get that soul back. They definitely have a lot of loyal fans, but I don't know. You compare their soul to even a Liverpool, an Arsenal, or a United, or the history, it's just not there. So bag them to win then? No, I'll bag United to win, yeah. United win 3-1. Yeah, how about that? But then what if they actually do? Then I've just basically written in stone. I don't know if it's just me when VAR is checking for an offside and the line is literally overlapping at this point, giving an onside because it's impossible to catch the exact frame. Not only that, but also the angles. The angles is also very important. I mean, once again, Brighton versus Arsenal, like, they literally were guessing the Cucurella offside, where he was playing them on, apparently, or whatever. Like, they were literally trying to guess that. I don't get that at all. Like, not only the angles and not only what you said, but also there was something else I was going to mention. Yeah, the body part. That is it, the body part. Like, 1 second the hand actually plays you on. What was it the Watford-Brentford game? That was a stupid decision as well. Dylan, nearly 3 hours. Yeah. Probably all the talk, the discussions about the lineups, and also me supporting City apparently. Don't remind me of that game. Don't think I've ever been that outraged during an Arsenal game. I'm telling you, I flipped tables. I threw stuff around. So imagine I did a watch along for that. Yeah, people would be laughing and stuff, but I wouldn't. Trust me, I wouldn't. I'd probably punch myself. And also the whole shoulder thing being offside is rubbish. Exactly. There you go. Should be more realistic and situational rather than a fixed rule. That seems unfair. That's what I mean. Referees and these VAR officials, everything, they literally can get away with anything, pretty much. You remember that game when Ox saved the ball with his hands and the referee sent off Gibbs? Yeah, that's just dumb. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and why would a player say no, it was him and not me or whatever? Like, it just makes no sense. That was just stupid. And isn't he a referee still now? I can't remember his name. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Wait, what else do we have? What did you make of the disallowed Matip goal in the Carabao Cup final versus Chelsea? I'll be honest, I don't remember that, but I think that might have gone against Liverpool as well. I'm not sure though. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that Chelsea were absolutely hard done by in that final, and I actually prefer Liverpool to win, by the way. So it's not like I prefer them, but yeah. No problem, the Galactic Hobbit. Thank you for tuning in, mate, and good to see you here. To be fair, I don't know why, but FA seems to hate Arsenal. The decision's always against them. Even Spurs got advantage these days. Look, I personally think that. Like, I'm not going to say Arsenal always get decisions against them every single game, but it happens very often. Like, there was a period, I think in November, for example, against United, Maguire manhandles, I think Tomiyasu in the box, that's a penalty, nothing given. The next game, I think is Godfrey. He literally does a high foot to someone's face, and that's a red card. No, nothing. I think he got a yellow maybe. Like, there's a lot of decisions I can point towards. Even in games that Arsenal have won, I think 2 or 3 penalties against Brentford easily. Yeah, a few of them were dives and a few of them weren't, but a few of them actually were penalties. That's the way I see it. So, I don't know. Yeah, Andre Mariner. Exactly. There you go. I'm a Liverpool fan, but Lukaku's disallowed goal in Carabao Cup final wasn't offside. But that's what I mean. Like, every team has had decisions for them and against them. But, like, come on. Like, even Arsenal. Surprisingly, even Arsenal. But I think some teams do get more decisions in their favour more than others. Historically, people would say United do get the most decisions in their favour. Maybe not recently, but I don't want to jinx it because watch them maybe get a penalty or something. A dubious one today. Let's wait and see. So that's my team pretty much for the week. If you haven't, seen it already, if you're late to the stream, we're going to be wrapping up fairly soon. But yeah, speak your heart, Dylan. Everyone has an opinion. Yeah, wait, you got to delete a message. Let me check it out. But yeah, no, we all have opinions. It's just, come on, like, I just don't get that. Like, come on. I think he's a bit too much of a Liverpool fan. He's probably the Thai version of Liverpool. The Cucurella offside is like, what are you smoking up there? Yeah, I mean, look, it's a debatable one. The thing is, I don't think they had a clear way of knowing. There was someone blocking. I think it was Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper, blocking him. So they had no way of knowing. They literally just guessed it, in my opinion. And normally they give the decision in favour of the attacker. And, the benefit of the doubt goes to the attacker, all that kind of rhetoric. Well, either way, I'm not blaming Arsenal's loss to Brighton because of that, because Arsenal deserved to lose that game. But then again, that would take it into 1-1. Maybe the game changes. But yes, Arsenal deserved to lose that game. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to hide behind referees because Arsenal have been, pretty woeful recently. Thank you as well, Adil. Good luck to you as well. Yeah, should be a really good weekend, hopefully. And let's wait and see. I have James, Havertz and Werner, but still captain Salah. I was going to do the same thing, but in the last 10 minutes, I went for Mount. Dylan, do you go to uni? I went to uni a few years ago, and yes, working outside of YouTube, yes. YouTube is just a hobby, basically, a part-time thing. If anything else happens or comes out of it, it's a bonus, basically. But thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. We've been on for almost 3 hours. We're going to be wrapping up now. Enjoy the Arsenal United game. That should be great. A little trip down memory lane. These 2 former greats battling out for 4th place. That should be very interesting. Could go either way, to be honest, despite United's form and also Arsenal losing 3 of the last 4 games. But it should be a great game. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. There's a Discord server in the description below, as well as the FPL League, so check all of that good stuff out. You can also become a Patreon or a channel member to support the channel even further. I'll read out a few last comments and questions or whatever, and then we'll be wrapping up. Time to start Wildcard, yes. If you're definitely going to do it, you might as well do it now. Who do you think will go through? That's a tough question, Teza. I back City from the beginning to reach the final, along with Liverpool, so I'll stick with them, but do not discount Real Madrid. They are the best in the Champions League. And City can, sometimes, maybe not bottle it, but they can sometimes, I don't know, not be as secure in the Champions League as the Premier League, let's say. Have a great week, Dylan. Big Green Arrow. Thank you, Mark. Likewise to you. Could you develop on the recent match fixing? I'm not necessarily saying Premier League matches are fixed, but there is definitely match fixing in football. Like, I have no doubts about that. I've seen examples. Like, I'll give you one in international football. 2019, Brazil-Argentina semi-final. That is one of the most corrupt games I've ever seen. 2015, there's a cup in Argentina, basically like the FA Cup. Rosario Central against Boca Juniors, one of the most corrupt games I've ever seen. There's a lot of examples. And sometimes you have to ask the question, are games fixed? Even Arsenal City, maybe it wasn't fixed, maybe the referee is just having a mare. But come on, like, the first half he was decent. The only decision he probably got wrong was Odegaard penalty against Edison. Potentially. But then the second half, every decision went City's favour, and it just seemed like he had an agenda. I don't know. Like, it's literally just, perspective, opinions. I don't have any facts to base that off, but it's literally what I see. I'm absolutely convinced, though, the 2 games I mentioned in international football and in Argentina were definitely fixed. I have no doubt about that. Thank you, Flan Dutchman. Likewise. I haven't got good points since 3 game weeks, so this goes good. Yeah, look, FPL is about cycles, just like football. You're never going to have, a season where every week goes well. And if you do, you're going to win it probably. So, yeah, good luck to you, mate. Take care, Dylan. Let's hope Eddie Nketiah outclasses Ronaldo. Oh, mate, I'd love it. Absolutely love it. But I am worried about Ronaldo. I am definitely worried about him. Best of luck to you as well, Singh, and to the rest of the chat. Wait, please, when is it the best time to wildcard apart from this game week? No, I think probably now. If you haven't used it already, I would use it now. But I'm just saying, if you aren't, if you're open to the idea of wildcarding in 36 or later, then you could just do it then. Instead of just committing to the wildcard already and trying to chase value or whatever. But I would personally wildcard right now. It just depends on your team. Mount and Havertz both around 80% effective ownership in the top 10k. Yeah, just like Salah last week. And that's why when you captain someone who doesn't have an effective ownership of over 100%, it's actually ideal, to be fair. But yeah, that should be pretty interesting. Both of them pretty popular options this week. I'm captaining Mount myself. Should be a very interesting one. But thank you very much to everyone. Enjoy the football as always. All the best of luck for Double Gameweek 34 and UCL Fantasy. I'll catch you there on Tuesday for the deadline stream, and I'll see you next time.